light.
He's just dapper.
You know what it is? The light.
The light is like a warm glow.
Yeah, it's got the blue lights right now, so the frustration is white. There you go. Is there a green light in there?
Why your camera a little red now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like reddish, right? Am I tripping?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the auto
Oh, focusing.
it's warm or hot. Like,
Yeah.
it's on the hotter side. It's not on always.
That looks white.
Oh shit! I don't even need it. I guess they resetted it. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
That's what we needed.
Nah, it's good.
Oh.
It's just your fan.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna be muted, but if y'all need me, just let me know on in the text. I'm just
Hold on, Cowboy, I need you.
streaming and and I'm gonna be watching Fdlive at the same time as well.
Alright, say that.
We'll probably hop in there with you in a little bit.
Yeah, the drifting.
Yeah, I already posted the server in the chat a while ago.
Hold on, are you watching FD right now or are you drifting?
I'm drifting and then I'm gonna watch and then I'm gonna drift and I'm gonna watch
Alright.
because it's about to go live again for top 16.
So, all right, we'll go drifting with you the second time you go drifting. Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I thought my brake was mad sensitive there for a second. Oh, that stop was messed me up. We can definitely do better. Okay. Let's adjust the tune a little bit. Up it up by 2. Double check everything. Best pump is up to 11. We're gonna try it without reducing the fast pump real quick. Yeah, that does. Oh my god, I wasn't paying attention. That wall right there, it's like it disappears when you turn. Okay. Let's get it. Oh, big hit. Not quite sure, probably around like 6-7K. I didn't buy it all at once, you know. I built it up as I don't know, over time. How you doing, Yuki? How's it going? Oh, I sent it too deep. It is tricky around that corner. Yeah, this is the next level immersion. It's insane. Let me decrease the feel like I have way too much. Let me try to decrease this as well. Just mess around with this. I always drop it down to 3. Drop it down to 7 because I feel like I have way too much happening in third there, making me a little sluggish. That was a lot better. We hit all the zone. This is not the base game. This is there's a lot of filters and mods and yeah. So I'm using pure. I think it's LSC or some stuff, and then there's the Mega, and I'm using the Mega one. And I'm also using Datrius as a PP filter and everything. Alright. Chase lead run felt good, not the best, but let's see how I do when I chase. Oh, I messed James up. James took off on me. That was insane. Hold on. Let's put the fast bump up because I went from being somewhat fast and now being a little slow. Maybe my Mustang tune doesn't quite work on here a lot better. We are in Simon Olsson's Super. Let's bump this up back to what it was. I'm adjusting the tune for St. Louis in this car because I don't have a tune for St. Louis. It's trials and errors. Yo, the car feels right. Oh, that corner is so weird. In chase run, that corner is weird. I got the car near the rear of his bumper, but for some reason my car was on this side. I gotta adjust to that corner right there. That was weird. The resolution, if you're talking about the 1080p stuff, then it's all the same monitor. If that's what you're talking about, 165 hertz, 1920 by 1080p. Yeah, that's all. Nothing crazy. I mean, I wanted to go with them so bad, but I don't want to mess that run up. We need to do that lead run again. Well, that chase run. Come on. I need to get that corner down. Okay. There we go. Alright. That was a lot better. But he was messing up his lines a lot. And I'm missing some zones. Oh yeah, my PC is so all my stuff, all my gears is all AMD. I'm an AMD guy. So I don't know much about Intel and Nvidia. But my first PC was AMD, so I just stick with AMD, and turns out they're very good. So my GPU is the RX 7900 XTX, and then I have the Ryzen 9 7900 XT CPU with 64 gigabyte of DDR5. And then I got a bunch of I got two 4 terabytes SSDs, and then one what's the other one? The thin SSD. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. Very shallow in the corner. I'm not quite sure if I hit that second zone. It's not easy to go into. Let me know if y'all like it like this. I can make it a little brighter. I don't want to make it too bright to the point it ruins the immersion. So no, we're just gonna drive a little bit of FD St. Louis, and then when the live stream drops, which will be any moment now, and then we can watch that. Okay. Yep, yep. You are Yuki. AMD has great prices. If I need anything PC wise, sim wise, I just go to Micro Center. They're not that far off from where I live at. Okay, buddy, he's missing all the zones. This is a Grip Royale steering wheel. Oh my God. So when it comes to that corner right there, I'm already initiating into it before the lead driver starts turning in, and that just makes me go right into them. Because it feels weird, because it's so, the outside zone and the second zone, the first zone and the second zone is so close together that it doesn't give you the right amount of time to get ready and to pull back enough to give time for the other car to get into it and come a little bit in front of you. So as soon as they transition later than me, because I'm flicking it and they're just rolling it, that just makes them take a little bit longer to get where I want them to be. That's one thing about this track, St. Louis, you gotta like flick into the zones a lot quicker. Oh, let's power it. Come on. Damn it. I had it perfectly on his door and then I had to right foot brake right there, otherwise I would have hit him. So I stopped just in the nick of time and lost power. I'm gonna drop the gear ratio because it's a little too high. It's well, it's nighttime over here now. Yeah, appreciate you, Yuki, for checking out the stream. Catch you whenever I'm doing cutting up stuff later on with the guys. Right now, they're just chilling in the Discord talking about life stuff. All right, let's. That zone is so damn tricky. That was a close one. He almost killed me. Damn, I wasn't even ready. That's what you get. In my opinion, FD's gotta find a better track over St. Louis. Because the zones are too close together, it doesn't give you enough time to really feel the love. The drifting. It's like the map ends so quick. Let's go! That was a beautiful lead run. Oh, going up against Tommy Lemaire. Oh, never mind. Oh man, entering that third zone, my car got gapped there. Okay, I'm low on tire grip, that's why. Oh, I was gonna give him a lead run. Oh my. Oh! That guy was messing up a lot. Insane saves right there. Had to consistently keep waiting for him. Oh! Yeah, slow down right there. I was hoping. Trying not to get off on grass. Damn it. Ah, damn it. I didn't add enough angle right there, so my car just shallowed out. That hit right there was a little too aggressive. Just a little bit. Oh man, I felt good. Take this baby back to pits and crush the tires. Oh. Oh, I'm losing power. I'm pretty sure FD's top 30 16 starter, right? Oh my god. I gotta change the keybinds. That's why that happens. There we go. I don't know why every time I press S, it just plays. Anyway. What was it about to do? Yeah. All right, we are up and running.
Hughes, one more time, a D Hughes, and Dylan Hughes gets the win, taking down our winner of Orlando, Dylan the.
Oh, we might have to restart this.
Big shakeup now to the points as
How many battles did I miss?
Progress out at 100 points, which is going to leave a couple of drivers still in the running to be able to kind of close that gap.
From 2004. What's the 401? Well, it's 411 works.
Okay.
He's ripping in his Kenda tire shrouded Toyota GR Corolla, brought to you by Rain-X. He is the Rockstar Energy Drink pilot. Make some noise for the hot hatchback and the driver. Live free or die. New Hampshire's own Ryan Tuerck. And last but definitely not least, another three-time champion. He is your current points leader. He won round one in Long Beach. He'd like to get back and be the tallest step at the podium. The smile says it all in the Rockstar Energy Drink. Toyota GR Supra on Kenda tires. Ichiban. It is Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer, Aasbo. There are your top 16 drivers. There are the top 16 vehicles. Only one can win here under the lights at this track that hosts IndyCar, NASCAR, and now it's our time. It's time to send it for round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship.
Yo, what up, Desmos?
Booth, as this is the United States Air Force opening ceremonies. Joining me up here.
How you doing? How you doing?
Is Staff Sergeant Pizek. I said that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, you did.
Yeah, that's what's up. You walked in here like you own the place, and that's right, you do. So thank you for your service, first and foremost.
Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Great to see you again,
Great to
man.
see you again.
Are you
No, they're about to start talking. Hold on.
So good. Who's going to get the win?
Let me skip all this.
Well, you know, I was rooting for Brandon Sorensen, but he's not here. So.
Unfortunately, yes, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
There's a loser and a winner, and unfortunately, Brandon got knocked out. Amanda, absolute legend. She made history last year, first female. But how long you been in the Air Force again?
13 and a half years.
Dude, again, I always say it. I'm not hitting on you, but did you start when you were 10 years old?
I didn't, no.
Because you got a baby face, man.
I appreciate it. It's the Italian genes. That's what it is.
There you go. All right, we'll go grab some Italian food after this. But what are some of the cool roles that you played in? I see you in the white tank top. Smile. I know he dragged you here, but he loves this track, and the track loves him.
Okay, this is top 32. I don't know. I feel like now I'm missing a lot that happened. So let's just watch top 32. Because now it's just pissing me off. I feel like I missed a lot now. Let's just watch top 32 because I know this is live and all, but it's not like we're interacting with anybody in the chat for us to be that excited over it being live. Let's just watch because I feel like I just missed a lot going into that. Okay. This is the pros, right? Yep, pro top 32, yep.
Oh my god.
Testers.
Tropical Punch Rockstar Energy Refresco.
Pull ahead to the pickup window.
Again, the track has been cleared. They did have some practice runs right before this, as Chris Forsberg was talking about. Brandon Sorensen just dipping that. Of course, he has that BMW with the LS under the hood. You know, we've seen some real great runs from Trenton Beecham, but right now I am not seeing on me fries, cheese. And
all right, there we go. Because I feel like if we watch that top 16, I feel like I don't know what the heck is going on. Who's who racing who?
Brandon Sorensen in the chase position. Look at the speed by comparison. You know, it's hot. We got good grip. Again,
Check out my FD hat out.
right before this, as Chris Forsberg was talking about, Brandon Sorensen just dipping that back left in. This outside zone 4, this was a real point of interest in the driver's meeting. How do you approach that? Pro spec compared to pro. Again, the tire size, the side bite, navigating it, coasting in, being on power, timing it just right, exiting out of outside zone 3, going into 4.
Yeah, Tommy Lemaire out in the lead on this one. Really solid and kind of just a generally safe run while still doing an amazing job of filling the zone. So he's kind of setting this standard, setting a precedent as we kick things off. Where Brandon Sorensen having to cut some line in a few spots. And there's Tommy adding a little bit more angle through outside zone 3 just to make sure he's filling all that requirements and then maybe not getting both wheels through. So I would say definitely got a few areas where he needs to go deeper in these zones, but all together nice and flowy, getting the decel done where he needs to. That transition maybe coming a bit close there to that zone. The judges do want the transition maybe a bit earlier. Get your decel done, get back on throttle as soon as possible, and then outside zone 4, which became a massive point last night. It was another talking point in the drivers' meeting this morning. A lot of people focusing on that zone because it's the way you finish the
I'm good, Desmond. My bad for seeing your chat a little later. I was doing other stuff in my head. But yeah, I'm good as well, man. Let's go, Brendan. Lemaire's on him. Oh my God, Lemaire's on him.
Smooch there, a little kiss on the forehead there from Brandon Sorensen on that outside zone 3, bringing it outside zone 4. Love that view from Justin.
That's insane. Crazy part is Lemaire just came out of Pro Spec, but Brandon was the same too when he came out of Pro Spec. He was dominating. So.
Take a look at it again.
Yeah, you can get a bit of different information from each drone, which is great, but this overhead is amazing to see the line, and we can see there that Brandon kind of came out of that just a
See that zone right there? It's so weird.
Doing a great job in the chase to mirror. Look at that.
You want the person who's leading to be very outwards within that deep in that zone. Otherwise, if they're shallow, it just throws you off completely. And then you got to be quick to transition to the next zone. Like,
through the second, I would argue maybe had a bit better on the chase. So making it tough on the judges right out of the gate with this driving that we're seeing. So yeah, it's good. They had a lot of practice. A lot of drivers talking about how much practice they got before top 32 even kicked off. So to me, that means we're going to get some crazy battles getting this going.
I liked how aggressive Brandon was, even though he did exceed that second outside zone. I liked how he initiated on 1, how he executed 4. So hats off to Brandon Sorensen.
Let's go, Tommy Lemaire.
Slight edge over him.
Well done, Brendan, as well.
Tommy Lemaire in his rookie year, jumping over. Sorry, what am I talking about?
He might get your rookie of the year.
Totally glitched right there. Tommy Lemaire in his rookie.
He's driving so well.
I know, right? I mean, he did so well in Pro Spec, just thinking about it, as I just talked about it moments ago. But Tommy Lemaire, he just speaks softly and speaks French, and also just he speaks great driving is what he really does. Daniel Stuckey, Trenton Beecham. Stuckey, part of the M-Spec camp. They have Casey Cole, who campaigns a vehicle in Pro Spec. Trenton Beecham, of course, he has that BMW with the LS under the hood. You know, we've seen some real great runs from Trenton Beecham, but right now I am not seeing him right now. Who called that? So Daniel Stuckey has called a comp.
Jonathan Castro!
The M-Spec camp. Daniel Stuckey has called a competition timeout. What is that exactly, Jacob, for the fans that have not watched Formula Drift or are new to the sport?
Yeah, so if you feel like there's an issue to the car, every driver, now they're in the top 32 bracket, has the ability to call a timeout, which means they have 5 minutes to get hands on the car, get whatever it is repaired, and have that car leaving within those 5 minutes. That's the important part of this. It's got to be done. It's not like they have 5 minutes and then wherever they're at, they can wrap things up. They got 5 minutes, hard 5 minutes to get that car back and leaving and out to the line. So it's tough. They can do a lot in 5, but keys to victory here. Get back on throttle immediately after initiation. There is a small decel zone there, but they want you back on throttle as soon as you possibly can. Fill outside zone 3 completely, and that is because if you do that, it'll set you up really well for 4. And then decel after your transition, not before. So after the car changes direction, that is the time that the judges have told them that's when you should be slowing down. You shouldn't be slowing down during the transition. You shouldn't be doing it before. After the car's changed direction, then you can decel, but then they want you back on throttle almost immediately.
Yeah. All right, so breaking it down again, keys to victory, the flow, and here is the track map. 4 outside zones, cut and dry, momentum. That's what we're talking about. Not decel, but momentum. I'm not seeing any out there.
No, not really. I mean, there's a couple of spots where it's more or less acceptable, but there shouldn't be any of these.
Zone 2 and Zone 3 connect to each other perfectly. If you hit Zone 2 very deep, it takes you perfectly right into the Zone 3.
When it comes to drifting, means great tandem. You don't have the inside.
So even though it looks very close together, it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's a really cool track, and a lot of the changes that they've made this year have made the tandem just.
Castro versus Shanahan. Let's go.
Also, let it be known that from jump, from round 1 in April, even though it was exclusively a pro round, it has been continuous through Pro Spec, as well as the lead driver wants to create the opportunity for a good chase run. Run your best lead run as possible if it's a single run, and the chase car needs to chase them down to the best of their ability. So again, don't impede, don't decel, no shenanigans, keep a good flow, hit all those outside zones for this case, or for this course in this case. But Lorette, give us a quick update. What's going on?
So what I'm hearing is that Daniel Stuckey had no power steering, but the belts were still on. Daniel, what's exactly the problem?
That's a good question right now. I was hoping a belt just came off, so it'd be an easy fix. Luckily, I trust these dudes. Hopefully, it's something that's quick, maybe a weird pressure bypass kind of thing, but...
Looking like study time.
Yeah, except I can't find the right lecture notes.
Oh, your laptop can find it. Power of Intel inside.
Just trying to play it safe, because there's some really quick transitions here and a lot of walls.
Daniel, thanks.
All right, well, there we are looking at Jonathan Castro and Jack Shanahan. Dominican Republic versus Ireland, Toyota versus BMW. 2 very talented drivers. Jonathan Castro getting his first podium. And
cameraman!
Into that first outside zone. As we now go into that second outside zone, now into, you can see Shanahan tucking in to the side of the 86. Man, that BMW is small, but it makes that 86 look small as well. The Methyl Dom 86, that last outside zone, he slides on in, and Shanahan tucks in. Man, the chase.
Nice, Castro. Jack was nice and clean near him as well.
They're using that handbrake and just massaging it on into the side of the 86.
Yeah, he does an amazing job here in the chase. Look at how early Jack gets on that initiation, and it takes Castro just a little bit longer, and then transitioning to the second outside zone. There's Jack all over him, getting mirroring quite well, getting the proximity, getting the line. I mean, Jack could have been a little bit deeper in the chase there. Castro maybe a tight, shallow, but both drivers really throwing down here. It's that quintessential for a good chase. You need a good lead. The only part that was a little needs maybe a little.
Oh, Jack is yeah, initiation.
Super early,
yeah.
In comparison to where Jonathan Castro did, which I think was just a little bit later on through it. So maybe anticipated that Castro was going to get the car sideways earlier in the run than he did, but adapts quite well, gets that proximity back. The Shanahan's ability to time transitions is just wild to me.
Yeah, you've really pointed that out, and I've seen that with Connor, but just, you know, Jack just has this different style and way about it than even Connor. Yeah. You know, and obviously they're both the Shanahan brothers and the boys, but Jack has a different way of doing and going about it. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger exactly on it, but it just has that certain punch up that Connor has.
Yeah, Connor really likes to get in tight for the transition, whereas Jack will fall back a little bit and then dive in. Connor, he's running bumpers every time.
All right, like I said, couldn't put my finger on it. It sounds like the Canadian fingers. Here we go, Mr. Shanahan leading now, and Castro into the second outside zone. You can see Shanahan, good angle. Want to see that overhead view of placement of Castro's car. Looks like he's a little late to the party. Outside zone 3, now transition to outside zone 4. That's what we're talking about. So you saw that handbrake. See how he coasted in outside zone 4? They really want to see him light off into it, but that's that compromise. The judges said, look, this is what we're expecting. We know you can't potentially do exactly that, but get as close as possible to it. Are you going to set the bar low because that's where it's at? No, you set the bar high. You go for the world record, right? If you're going to jump a bunch of BMWs, if you're going to set the record on a motorcycle, you're going to jump. You're not just going to do a little bunny hop.
Yeah, the judges set the expectations really high, and what's interesting is how often the drivers will meet and supersede that in a lot of cases. But Jack Shanahan out front does a really good job here. Stable, could have been a little bit deeper through outside zone 2.
Okay, I just noticed the newer map, they've shortened the second zone by a little bit, so it gives you a little bit more time to work with. If you look close right there, yeah, they're shortening it just by like a little bit like that. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, he lost power because he had to clutch and slightly off the throttle so he doesn't back into Jack. And that just throws the steering wheel off because you're losing power, and therefore the car starts straightening out. Yep. Let's go, Jack. I'm a little bummed out, but it is what it is. I'm a big fan of Castro.
That's not where it needs to be. 20 seconds on the clock. I don't think this is going to happen for Daniel Stuckey, and I am seeing sans the graphics on the side. I think there were some shakeups there, as you were telling me, and it's got Kenda tires on it, but now it's got 2 seconds, and Stuckey has been.
Oh man, that sucks.
Unfortunately, that is time. But look at still smiling, great attitude, but such a bummer for Stuckey. Throws the hands up.
Power steering.
So
sucks.
Daniel Stuckey, great attitude, and unfortunately, we will be moving on without him. So just like that, Shanahan, Castro's out, Stuckey's out, so that'll mean Trenton Beecham will quickly just get a bye run, and then Jack Shanahan defeats Castro, and we are back to the start line with another rookie. We got Connor Osoli.
This is why I wanted to watch top 32, because I would have been expecting Castro in top 16 and not noticing that he's been already knocked out.
Love the attitude of the Mr. Cool Cadillac pilot, Jonathan Hurst. Osoli in United States Army, BMW initiates. Look at that tire fire.
Yes.
Right there, and gets on that wick on that second outside zone. Jonathan Hurst, he applies the pressure, has to back off a little bit now to outside zone 3. He digs deep there.
If you look very close into that Cadillac, you can see a Corvette build. It looks exactly like the old school Corvette. Just a little. I feel like it just has a little bit more of a bulkier look, while the Corvette is just a little bit more slick. So.
Most importantly, our 3 judges. We got
but yeah, it's a damn Cadillac. It's crazy.
3 judges for this round. Again, Brian and Reese, the entire season. Vernon splitting the duty with Robin Ishida.
Yeah, so taking a look at this, I mean, both these drivers are very, very close. They're great friends and pit together, so they know what each other is going to be able to throw down. And Connor out here really pushing to the edge of the track throughout the entire run, taking a nice, wide, swinging line. It's a beautiful lead run here from Connor. Maybe lights off a little bit later, whereas Jonathan just not able to get settled into how that Connor was driving. The upside when you're that close with somebody you know you can push really hard. And I think Jonathan maybe took a bit earlier of a dive than he needed to, and then couldn't get the timing, couldn't get that tempo set for the rest of the run. And then, you know, by the time it's a quick track, it's less than 30 seconds. So you make that mistake even at the beginning, man,
It's gonna throw you off.
Yeah, it's tough, and there's so much of this that's the tempo, the rhythm of the transition. So just wasn't able to make the sweet music that Hurst was looking for.
Oh, look, this is the rhythm of the night. It's a song I was thinking of right now.
The rhythm.
This is the Omen, a classic slip-on shop boot loaded with modern comfort.
Right, here we go. All right, the Mr. Cool Cadillac of Jonathan Hurst. Osole quickly gets to the side, and that's that fluidity that you're talking about. And look, he comes out of smoke and dives on in, almost rubber-to-rubber contact. That could definitely...
Osole is on him. Holy crap.
Third outside zone. Osole now dives in.
Nice.
Jonathan Hurst, and he gets involved with that...
Oh!
About control across the finish line. Oh, we got a little bullfight right now. So the Cadillac's it's like bang bang right there from the Mr. Cool Cadillac.
Yeah, it's just wanting to continue to push all the way through the line, and really Hurst just came into outside zone 4 with just a little bit too much speed. It pushes him wide, and by the time he lit off the tires, that was pretty much it. So, you know, like I said, these are good friends. They pit together. There's always back and forth. If you had a chance to take a look at the socials for FD this week, and Hurst's been running them, and it is a party over there. But let's take a look at this run. There's Hurst, a little bit of a left foot brake to get it out, and then right here, that's where Connor gets in. I mean, Sully's just doing such a great job of adapting, and Hurst does provide a pretty solid lead run throughout this entire thing, but these small corrections we see out of Sully to get the timing back in, and there it is, just a little bit too much. And then both drivers trying to figure out what they're doing after they get across the line in that contact, and a great shot here. You can see Hurst just gets on that power, pushes him out of the zone a little bit early, and he does adapt quite well through outside zone 2, pushing through 3. Just look at how close Sully gets in there on the side of Hurst throughout the zone, but you can see that little bit pushback.
When you say a little too much, on the side of O'Sullivan or Jonathan Hurst, because again, that yellow line, so point this out too, the last outside zone 4 is truncated, so you need to have control and drift across the finish line. There goes Jonathan Hurst right there, where that cone is, where he hit that yellow line, that's the finish line. Right. We are avoiding going up on the bank. A couple reasons. Don't want to debead and don't want to damage the bank. That's obviously, you know, we have IndyCar, we have NASCAR here, and of course drifting, you know, it could tear it up. But O'Sullivan does get the victory, but elaborate on that if you will, Jacob. Again, was it Hurst pushing too much? O'Sully pushing too much? And again, what's expected from the
O'Sully gets the win. That was definitely his win.
Came into outside zone 4 a little bit too quick, and you'll see that if drivers are in outside zone 3 and they leave a bit early, if they don't fulfill the whole zone, a lot of the times it puts them on a straight line path, means a bit too much speed, can't scrub it, next thing you know, you're in the dirt.
Well, we are quickly advancing through our top 32. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back here to round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, just across the Mississippi River from St. Louis, Missouri. We are technically in Illinois. This is the mid.
I'm Chelly's car in Prospect, so we put the fans right on time for top 32, and I knew that Brandon was going to be a great driver, always consistent, really fast, so I wanted to match the speed with him, and we did just enough to get the win, so it's an awesome start.
And now what about the stress level moving forward from top 16? Anything there?
I think each battle that we pass, it's a little bit less weight on my shoulders. So now it's just more fun, and hopefully we can get the next battle, and after that it's going to be only joy.
Well, Jared, you have been announcing for a plethora of different sports. Is there any other sport besides Formula Drift that you can name that actually shares parts with competing drivers? This is what the sport is all about, a lot of heart.
The day. I love plethora. Would you say plethora? Again, the camaraderie here is absolutely infectious, because you could actually have the same car, but as I say,
Let's go, Jeff Jones.
All right,
Ken Guushi.
Jeff Jones. I feel like he has literally won with
Yes,
the
sir.
He is Groot. I think he's assumed the power of the forest after New Jersey, and his vehicle looked fantastic. And talk about the camaraderie, building that car.
Let's go, Jeff Jones.
And a testimonial that Lorette just brought up. But Ken Guushi, the OG since 2004, initiates that first outside zone. Jeff Jones actually going a little bit deeper, but did not see any of that dirt gravel machine gun getting sprayed out.
Oh!
We did see some contact there. That back right corner exploding from Ken Guushi. Want to see that overhead view of the big drift energy on the roof. Man, look at that thing throwing a gang sign out back and crossing the finish line. So Guushi and Jones ripping it up here on the first portion of this battle.
Yeah, I mean, that was exciting. I like it. We're getting, the tandem's getting close, which means the body panels start disappearing. So let's take a look at this right off the bat. So Ken Guushi, maybe a little bit slower roll to start, and then Jeff, it just pushing wide. That's it. I mean, Jeff kind of miscalculating there, and then as he gets into the second outside zone, this is where Jeff gets scrappy, gets into the side of Ken, but not phased. I mean, he's got 296 battles under his belt. He does not, he's seen this before. He's read this book, and Ken just keeps going, and there it is. Ken, I mean, Jeff again with a bit of a punch. This is a feisty Jeff Jones. I don't know if I've seen him quite like this.
And again, just, you know, it's almost you have that luxury of looking at it again. I'm trying to react here, watching Ken Guushi, and Jeff definitely got that gravel machine gun, and he definitely put that front left into the back right of Ken Guushi, and just making his presence felt, not leaving it in the judge's hands. And those are the tolerances that we would expect from our pro caliber drivers. So Jeff not backing down, not giving Ken Guushi an inch, but now here it is reversed with kind of those, let's call it what it is, some refinements that need to be cleaned up. Jeff Jones in that chase position. Ken Guushi, if he keeps it clean, keeps it tidy, and you know, has good proximity, obviously has all the elements, he could get it done. But Jeff Jones, we know he is definitely an aggressive driver, and he has the clean air with that Evo AutoWorks Nissan Z. Ken Guushi with the Greddy Toyota GR86.
Sorry, I'm just taking a look to see, because in situations like this, they may be afforded a free five, but we called it. Let's just go.
Oh, the comp. Let's just go ahead and send it, baby. USPS. And Jeff Jones does it once again. He lifts that front left. So, and you can see how dramatic it is, and that could really disrupt the car. So, kudos to Jeff Jones for actually maintaining that angle and bringing on.
Oh!
Down, and that could have been because of the contact. Don't know exactly, but Guushi does not complete the run in the chase position, and that is required. That is going to be an incomplete for Ken Guushi in the chase, and even after all the tumultuous run, you wonder what went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I love the warrior mentality of just going at it and not calling the five and just driving as hard as you possibly can. But could that 5-minute call saved Ken Guushi in this situation? So let's see if we can break this down and find out what happened. Jeff, I mean, he's consistent, that's for sure. He's going real deep in outside zone 1, transitions to outside zone 2, maybe just a touch late, and Ken on that tighter line. Jeff looking good, pushing out to 3, and then right there, Ken just shuts it down. So yeah, absolutely devastating for a Ken Guushi who looked like he had everything ready to go, and Jeff then gets the free go, nothing behind him throughout that. But really, that was Ken Guushi's battle to lose, and it seems like he did with the shutdown or with the mechanical, because I didn't see anything else that would have happened. I was looking maybe for a D-bead or for something, but something in that car was just not happy, and that was it.
I'm just wildly surprised he didn't call a comp timeout. I know. Just to inspect it, and the way the car shut down, it didn't seem like, you know, a tire debeaded, obviously. Belt didn't get thrown, so I just don't know, and I'm a little baffled why Ken did not call a competition timeout. We do have so Jeff Jones gets the win first and foremost, but also, again, spotters are next to us, but some are atop the building. So we're on the 4th floor of race control here, and this is where Jeff comes in hot. Well,
that's what I'm wondering. If something there happened now.
That's what I'm saying, but why did you call a comp timeout? And I think his spotter's on the upper deck.
I gotta get in here, man.
But we're not gonna chase you down. No. You know what I mean? We're not gonna pursue you. You have to come here into race control and let us know we're calling a comp timeout. So I'm wildly surprised that Ken Guushi and his team did not call comp.
Oh.
1st and 3rd. All right,
okay.
So finding out.
So that, I mean, in this case, I doubt that contact maybe. You never know, though. Yeah, but yeah, wild. So, I mean, crazy change or crazy Crazy event.
The crazy train.
Crazy train.
All aboard. Hiroya Minowa, again, getting his first ever podium, first ever win, which was absolutely amazing here. Hiroya Minowa going against Austin Moza. So these two, again, look at this new generation of drifters. Truly international, one jumping over from FD Japan and Japan in itself. And here he comes into that first outside zone. He got the victory at round 3. And here he is, tearing it up in front of Austin Moza, that Launchpad Golf on the roof. And Hiroya Minowa, a Juku racing vehicle into the outside zone 3. Now let's see how it transitions. Very good. Fluid, and Austin Moza, it does not work out for him on that transition. He gets into the dirt.
Yeah, Minowa flicked it into that there perfectly.
As Minowa is just clinical at such a young age, 17 years young.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch how he's able to drive so much further beyond his years, but there's a pretty sizable left foot break there for Minowa, and then Moza having to battle back. So into the second outside zone, things look pretty solid here. Moza starting to close up that gap as they go into the third outside zone, and then even more angle added there for the young Japanese driver, but then Moza just not able to get the timing right outside zone 4. So I do know, a big left foot break or a big decel on outside 1 is a kind of contentious topic right now. So we'll see if the judges put that into perspective as they go through the rest of this run. But yeah, Moza, who did have a pretty good hit in practice earlier, did get taken a look at. So is there, what's going on there? I saw his hand wrapped up. So Moza battling through something else as well. But
let's go, Hobson.
Back out on track, ready to go.
Literally, he's in a tribe, the Native American, one of the tribes supports him. It's really cool to see that. And we just got a quick glimpse there of Ben Hobson. The hood was off his vehicle. I wonder what's going on there. Something's afoot. Austin Moza initiates into that first outside zone. And where is Minowa? No problem. He dives out of that smoke. Now, he needs to apply the pressure, keep it consistent, doesn't need to do anything fancy because, unfortunately, as you said, Austin, he is dealing with a hurt wrist, and he spun out. You wonder if that came into play. So earlier in the accident, I saw him up here in the tower. His wrist was all wrapped up, and I said, how you feeling? He said, all right. And speaking of feeling all right, Ben Hobson pulling out, that's a sign of a good time. Now keep in mind, Ben Hobson, sophomore season with that Mustang has had some good luck, some bad luck, but guess what? He's going against Aasbo in 32.
Yeah, Austin Moza out here looking really good. Another bit of a left foot break there. So something to keep an eye on throughout the rest of this event. Very similar to what we saw with Minowa. Now, Hiro able to close up the gap here. Very similar to what Moza did as well. Both drivers adding that bit of extra angle coming out of outside zone 3 and into 4. Moza gets on that throttle, and Minowa.
Go ahead, make your day with the Neo QLED 8K. With glare-free technology for no distracting reflections. Even smarter with SmartThings and Galaxy AI.
Pretty far back, so kind of interesting. Not sure if the judges are going to be looking for a side-by-side, but I know I would be, because that was a much tighter battle than I think some people are expecting. Listen, I mean, Moza's been in the game for a long time. He's actually won his and received his pro license for multiple times now, and decided take a step back, really hone his craft before making the jump into pro, and another driver battling for that Rookie of the Year. It's just a cool thing. So let's take a look. BC Racing custom coilover side-by-side, and let's try and break this down and see what the differences are. So, I mean, both drivers pretty close in kind of different ways to the first outside zone. Second outside zone, Moza getting really deep there. And then, I mean, the tandem's pretty similar going into 3, and both drivers adding that little bit of extra angle. And then the chase is really where it starts to separate out, where Minowa pretty far back, but then Moza incomplete. So,
but I think what the judges are really focusing on is outside zone 4. And I'm going to kind of talk to the judges while I'm talking to you, but did Minowa impede on the flow of Moza and causing him to spin? I think that might be a point of contention as well, and that's what the judges were really talking to in depth in the drivers' meet, and the drivers were inquiring about that. Yeah. What's the best line? What are you expecting? And you know, we want to kind of just flow into that outside zone 4.
Well, and where the decel is too, right? If you're changing momentum in a place that the judges have not indicated is a good place to do it, and that chase driver is expecting you to do it in there, and you don't, or you do it somewhere different, that is very, very difficult to chase. And the idea of this layout and the big principle when it comes to judging this year is let's make these runs as chaseable as possible. Let's make them predictable. Let's make things wide and floaty. And the lead driver's job is to open the door and provide an opportunity for that chase driver. If that did not happen, that goes against them in the judging criteria.
You know, and again, hats off to Minowa, his you know, breakout season last year against James Dean here in St. Louis. So you know, as it is definitely hot outside, it is a cold place right here. We're putting the judges on ice. And Reese Marin, hats off to him if you did not hear, as Reese making some history. Reese, one of the judges, he competes in the U.S. Drift Street League and won the event just last weekend. So I believe, statistically speaking, he is the first ever, I know he is, he's the first ever Formula Drift judge to win an event while concurrently being a Formula Drift judge. So I think that's a contribution to the judging prowess and what is expected of drivers, as he is a driver himself. So very cool. So judges review in a little bit. So let's take a look, and waiting for the verdict from the judges. Minowa or Austin Moza. Again, Austin spinning, rotating, both the judge waiting. To me, I thought it was pretty clear cut, but I like that they're analyzing this to set precedents for the entirety of the event.
Yeah, for sure, and that's a huge thing.
Real quick, let's throw it down to Reese Marin here, talking over our side-by-side.
Yeah, we can see both drivers coming into outside zone 1, then we're going into outside zone 2. Right here, everything's looking pretty solid. We are looking into outside zone 4. As we did say, we want the car to light off, and if the driver is close enough and you light off late, that could potentially mess up the flow. So all the judges are going to look at that. I can see that we may go a different way on this, but it's definitely what we talked over in the drivers meeting, and we're going to place a judgment call based off of what we've seen in outside zone 4, and we'll see who gets the win.
Interesting. Yeah, you guys called it. I mean, it was pretty clear cut in the drivers meeting as well, and we're early in top 32, as you said. Want to set that precedent as we get our judges' decision.
Analyzing it and scrutinizing it, and it looks like the outcome. Oh, look at this! And again, it looked like Reese was siding with Moza, so he, again, setting precedents here. But it was 2-1. And Reese, you still have your headset on. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so when it came to me going into outside zone 4, I feel like Moza was doing a good job in the chase, and he was able to get into the pocket. Minowa lit off late in outside zone 4, and I felt like that's what contributed to Moza having the spin out. The other judges didn't see it that way, so respectfully, they placed the judgment call in a different manner.
Let's go, Dylan Hughes.
Minowa gets the win.
Thank you so much. Hiroya Minowa, like I said, had his breakout round here last year against James Dean, and now we are taking a look at our next battle, and that will be Dylan the Dozer Hughes versus Nick Novak. Dylan Hughes, who finished 12th in New Jersey. Nick Novak, he had to fight for his spot here in seating brackets. Dylan, the royal purple BMW in that first outside zone. Nick Novak tucks in. A little more modern of a, very, actually, same years of BMWs now. Oh, and Dylan Hughes, you see it come a little unwound going to outside zone 3. Maybe anticipated being deeper into the outside zone. Now, a lot of handbrake there coming in, and again, then lighten it up about the halfway point. But again, want to analyze that. Going from outside zone 3 to 4, I think that's going to be, just as we just saw, a point of focus.
Yeah, the latter half of this track is pretty massive. It really, a lot of these decisions are coming down to the last half, but first outside zone looks good there for Dylan. Really hangs onto that angle for a long time. It makes the transition kind of late into outside zone 2, but Nick Novak doing a good job of keeping everything sorted, and then starts to reel him in as we get into our 4th outside zone. There's Dylan Hughes, a bunch of angle, lighting off a little bit late, but no incident caused there. I'd say Nick Novak kind of keeping a car's width, if you will, all all the way through this run, kind of safe. Would like to see him be a bit more aggressive, but maybe this is what he's planning. Maybe he's going, I got something in my back pocket for the lead run. I'm going to throw down something wild, so I can be a bit safer on the chase.
He's got it in his Nick Novak pocket. And Nick Novak will be leading. Dylan the Dozer Hughes chasing him down. Let's see what Novak has. Nick's been driving really, really well this weekend. I think this track suits his driving style. Again, the all outside zones. He places the car properly, and he's got really great angle. Dylan with the attack in outside zone 1, slowly creeping up to the side of him, allows that transition in front of him. Novak, the degree of angle there, comes out of it a little bit, so very similar to what Dylan Hughes did on his first run. Now in outside zone 3, Dylan with great proximity, now outside zone 4. See that quick little stabs of the handbrake as opposed to just yanking on it, causing that car to slide, because when you pull that handbrake, you'll see it stop, and that causes the back end to actually slide out towards that back end, so that'll just work its way on in there. Again, you want to be lit on that throttle and power into the outside zone 4, staying consistent as possible. That's what the ideal.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. First outside zone here from Nick Novak looks solid. He's carrying a good chunk of speed into the second outside zone, transitioning just a touch late, but that kind of kick to the wall there allows Dylan Hughes to regain that proximity, get back into the battle, and the transition out to 4. As Jared said, yeah, just a quick grab of the handbrake, but he was a bit shallow on there. May have actually done a bit better by holding on. So you'll see a lot of drivers after transition will just grab the e-brake really quick. When I talked to them about it, they say it's to settle the car out, get the suspension kind of back into a neutral position. But in this case, Dylan Hughes.
Dylan Hughes gets the victory. Great driving by Dylan the Dozer Hughes. He gets it done in that royal purple BMW. Nick Novak, some great driving. And, you know, that was a pretty close one. I would just say that refinement of Dylan the Dozer Hughes and the eagerness. I felt like he was just right there. He's aggressive, but just really tempering and dialing it back. So not going all the way to 10, just that 9.5 on the Richter scale. So well done by Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Unfortunately, Nick Novak knocked out. And with every battle, there's always a winner and there's always a loser. We're officially halfway through our top 32, so don't go anywhere when we come back. More Formula Drift action here at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Hi, Simon Olsson here, and we're here with your BC Racing Clip Tip. I picked Outer Zone number 2 as one of the most crucial part of the tracks, where we come up from a very high speed first outer zone going into a very tight, quick transition going into outer 2. Here it's important to get it fast and smooth, but not overcook it or undercook it. Here it sets you up the perfect for going into outer 3. So it's in the middle of the track. You need to get it dialed in. You need to be on the line to make it perfect for outer 3 as well. With that being said, you gotta make it smooth, gotta be quick, not too slow, not too fast, and then flat out throttle through. And this has been your BC Racing Clip Tip.
Drifting is not just a sport.
Product availability. Just one.
Stick it to the wall, stick it to the door. Very timely advertisements there as we are promoting two of the drivers that are out there. You saw Ben and Frederick Aasbo currently leading the pack in the point standings. He got second at the previous round in New Jersey. Ben Hobson, you can see the stats here. What? Since 2020, these guys have never gone against each other?
Yeah, it seems to be the case, man.
I mean, sophomore season here for Ben Hobson, and this, I'll tell you what, this is a perfect opportunity to gain some confidence. He knows what Frederick Aasbo is capable of. He knows he's going to have a clean driving, and he knows what he is capable of as a driver. So here we go, Ben Hobson, Frederick Aasbo, and Ben Hobson, he's got Aasbo's face on his wheels, so he's going to put it right to him. Stick it to the wall, stick it to the door, stick it to the side of the Supra. Outside zone 2, here they go. Frederick Aasbo, look at Ben Hobson diving in. This is exactly what I was anticipating, expecting. Frederick Aasbo with a solid, good, dynamic lead run. Drifts right on the outside zone 4. Ben Hobson in tow, across the finish line. Very clinical, good, clean, nothing extracurricular as Frederick Aasbo's team looking on.
Yeah, it's exactly how you want this to go. Frederick Aasbo out front laying down an incredible run while Ben Hobson is given all the opportunity in the world to plant that Mustang on the side of the Supra through every zone. So first outside zone gets a little bit out of sorts there from Ben, but gets completely dialed in for the second outside zone. Even maybe a bit of a wheel tap there. So get to our third, and there's Freddie just steady Eddie all the way through. Good transition there, nice and floaty out, and then Ben able to start to reel him in a little bit more at the end of that. So Freddie, I mean, getting these lead runs absolutely like dialed at this point, right off the bat, right out of practice he was like this. So it's just a continuation. Now they're going to swap it around. Ben had a pretty good chase. How can he take the momentum and stick it to Freddie on this one? Look at that.
That's what I was talking about, teasing that. So steady Eddie, shreddy Freddie. Frederick Aasbo there on the other side of that big Ford Mustang. So the Penzo RTR, I know Captain Clutch Kick, and this is a big confidence booster for Ben Hobson. His sophomore season has, you know, just some peaks and valleys. We know he's a talented driver. He won the Prospect Championship 3 years
go,
ago.
Ben!
Sophomore season for him. Now he's got the clean air, and he's got a very capable machine. Here goes Ben Hobson, initiates. I know they were having some issues. The throttle was sticking earlier. That's why the hood was off. So now coming out second outside zone. Frederick Aasbo gives him a lot of room. Lacking the angle. Ben Hobson, massive angle into outside zone 3. Frederick Aasbo trying to nose in, massage the outside zone 4. There goes Ben Hobson. Quick little drift. Freddie's face goes around and crosses that finish line.
Yeah, this is crucial for both drivers and for the teams as well, because for Ben Hobson, he would love nothing more than to give James Dean a bit more of a lead in that championship. Let him rank up those points. If he can knock out Freddie early, that is massive to the championship here. But Freddie, he's got to keep this winning streak going. So
boy,
let's see. I mean, yeah, gets it. And Ben is he is pedaling that car. He is really pushing it to get as far out to that zone as he can. But yeah, Freddie right there.
What is Freddie doing out back?
I don't know.
Dude, he did an RSVP to the party.
No, but I mean, Ben's trying to put everything he possibly can. There was a bit of a shake in the car there near the end of the run. I don't know if he was just throwing a big old clutch kick through that whole thing, but can see there Ben just trying to. They got that car wicked all the way up, so he's having to fight that because it wants to shoot forward. It wants to get as much speed as it possibly can. And Ben's just trying to keep it at angle with Freddie in the chase. Not as picture perfect as we would have expected. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting battle here from both drivers. Going down to the judge's decision, but man, that was fun. That was a fun battle.
That was really good. Again, I think, you know, how you start is how you finish so quickly like that, and it was definitely aggressive, but Frederick Aasbo gets the win unanimously. Some great driving by Ben Hobson, but you know, I think the biggest one is how you start is how you finish. Reese, down to you. It was unanimous. Frederick Aasbo trying to twist the screws. He knows he's going against, but Reese, down to you.
Yeah, like we said before, lead line is always important. We can see when Ben is going into outside zone 1, he's very shallow into outside zone 1, so it really puts Aasbo into a really bad position. He was able to adjust to that. He gets back into the flow in outside zone 2. As he goes into outside zone 3, you can see he gets right back into the pocket again, and then he dominates outside zone 4 in the chase. So you can see Ben right there is really shallow in outside zone 1. Aasbo is a little bit shaken up and gets back into the pocket as well. Ben doing a good job in the chase as well too, and his counterpart as well, going through outside zone 3. You can see that now they're starting to get closer in proximity, and right here you can see a big difference closing out the layout where Aasbo is able to close the door in the proximity there, and Aasbo gets the win from all the judges.
Yeah, and you know, Aasbo, James Dean, and Adam LZ were Ben Hobson fans, obviously, right there, and James, obviously, his RTR teammate, but
looking like steady time.
Trying to.
Oh, your Lenovo Aura edition can block all my distractions. Sorry, is that distracting?
Obviously not the case here, and like you said, great elaboration, as dynamic and great as it was for Hobson, just not enough taking down our current points leader, 3-time champion, all things included.
Yeah.
Let's go, Connor.
So Aasbo's got to keep on that run as we now get a really epic battle here. Derek Madison and Connor Shanahan out into our first outside zone.
Yeah, here we go as we are seeing D-Mads out front. Shanahan diving in with that 86. There goes Derek Madison, that coilover depot vehicle outside zone 3. You can see him filling all of it. Connor Shanahan very fluid. Would like to see him be a little more aggressive and what we know, and now bringing across the finish line. Saw your little head. I saw your head bobble there. What do you think?
What we're seeing with Derek Madison in particular is the better the driver he's going against, the better he's been performing. And he's got so much confidence coming out of these other events. He's got a ton of confidence being here in front of the home crowd. And I'm already seeing it, especially on that lead run, because this is a really solid go. And Connor Shanahan playing things safe, and I really don't think that you can. So Derek could have been a little bit deeper through that and held on, but then the second outside zone looks very planted, very smooth, gets out there, comes off throttle just a touch, and then pushes out nice and wide to 3, adds a bit of extra angle, and then maybe some hesitation into 4, but really Connor not as close to him as I really would have expected. Connor's almost always door to door with whoever he's going against no matter what, and kind of playing it a bit safe there against Derek Madison. I know once they swap this around, Derek is going to be pushing as hard as he possibly can. You can see here, Connor's already got the 1 win over Derek in their history. But for Derek, he's got some confidence going into this right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a lot of family, a lot of friends here. This is his home track, like you said. He lives, sleeping in his own bed. That's got to help. You're not traveling across country.
Yeah, no, it's huge.
And here's Connor Shanahan going all the way across country. He's doing double duty. He's doing drift masters. He's doing FD. He's doing life. And here we go, as they all are, but Connor Shanahan, you can see that yank of the handbrake, and Derek Madison gets into formation, has to back off a little bit there, going to outside zone 2. Good angle now with Connor in the fresh air. Man, look at that, slingshots his way from 2 to 3. Derek Madison, a little shallow on outside zone 3. Shanahan brings on in, and there's that grip. You saw the car grip up and almost jet out and beeline or V-line out of the outside zone 4, but he holds on to it and crosses that finish line.
There's a couple of spots here for Connor where it's just maybe awkward is one way to put it, where the car seems to not have the grip. He's got a ton of wheel speed going, and then all of a sudden it just catches and starts to shoot, and that happens right after first outside zone. So we see the left foot brake there. Connor really fighting that angle on the car and picking up that speed, and then second outside zone looks pretty decent. Derek just trying to keep in the battle, but really when Shanahan gets on the power, when he decides that he wants to grip that car up, it takes off like an absolute rocket. Now that bites him a little bit in outside zone 4, because once he floats out there and then gets back on throttle, he's kind of shallow through that section. So it was a little wonky there. Not what I was expecting out of Connor, who seems to be fighting this car a bit more than maybe what he is expecting. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't provide an amazing opportunity for Derek to really get into the pocket, because it is kind of on throttle, car shoots out, and then he's got to slow it back out. So just not as smooth as what we're expecting. Derek Madison fans, full force here in St. Louis.
Yep, it is not D-Nice, that's D-Mads, baby. He is going for it, and he wants to make his hometown proud. So we'll see if Derek Madison, the party shirts, he's got, again, always an aloha vibe to him. So take a look at our BC Racing side-by-side.
Yeah, so both drivers really in the lead need a little bit of work, but in a couple of different ways. So for me, Derek wasn't fulfilling all the zones correctly, but he still had a pretty good flow throughout the track, whereas I feel like with Connor, it was kind of like at angle and then not at angle and then would shoot out. And you can see a good example of it right there, where he's got to hold that power back. So it's going to be interesting how the judges end up going at this and which direction they're going to go, or, always the opportunity for one more time.
Yep, and waiting for the verdict. Our judges, looks like they're analyzing just a little bit further. 2 of the judges putting in, and now 3 are putting in their decision. Either Shanahan, the Irish driver, Derek Madison, the Midwest St. Louis resident.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we still got one more judge. Reese taking a few extra minutes to really understand what was going on. This is a really massive cause and effect track. When you've only got 4 zones, it's a shorter track. We're less than 30 seconds throughout a lap. Every single little bit means massive. It's not like maybe in Atlanta where we got a lot of zones. You can kind of make up some spots here or there.
Inside clips.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very unique in that regard.
All right, Derek Madison, so one more time. So there it is. So as you said, that's one more time here between Madison and Shanahan, throwing it down to Lorette Nickel. It's hot out there, Lorette.
Oh, it sure is. We are not in the sun right now. We're under the garages trying to get the shade. Freddie, I don't know, do you have a temperature gauge in your car? Do you know how hot it is in there?
Not that I know of. What I do know is Ryan has one, and I think they set a temp record on Thursday, 133 F inside the car.
Absolutely insane. You had told me that today has been a little bit of a slow burn and you're figuring some things out. What are those things?
Driving, Thursday we were struggling in certain corners. We fixed those. Then I started struggling elsewhere. So we've been trying to piece together the lead runs. And now it's starting to click. We had a decent lead against Hobson now.
If you're getting spammed by your car insurance shopping sites with annoying calls like these, that means you probably didn't use the right app for buying insurance. What if I told you that there's an app called Jerry where you can compare 50+ car insurance carriers and buy your policy without ever getting spam calls? A 24/7 support team to help you with anything, with rates as low as $85 per month, and let Jerry handle the rest for you.
With my Philips Latte Go, it's always a good time for a coffee. In the morning rush, or...
We had an okay chase, but I fell a little bit behind, but he didn't quite have the lead run, so we move on, and it was a very important battle. You know, a part of me wanted Ben to move on. He's an awesome guy, but a bigger part of me is here to try and compete, and we're slowly, luckily, figuring out the track here.
Yeah, of course, and of course, trying to compete for that championship, and he just gained 10 points and jumped across up to the top of the championship. Well done, Freddie.
So Frederick Aasbo, his signature smile, his chiseled jaw, and he advances on. All right, Matt Field, this gentleman is always working out. I saw him in the gym this morning. He's doing it, he's doing it all, man. But right now he needs to do it against Dmitry Brutsky, and talking about take him down. Brutsky, some more track time than anybody else out here, because he's doing pro spec, he's doing pro. He got on the box yesterday, but here he is going against Matt Field.
The beast of the bait, Matt Field.
The numbers overall, these guys have seen battle. Again, these stats go back to 2020. And 134 matches in just the last 5 years. So Matt Field got the win against Brutsky. So Matt Field, as new as he feels as a driver, he's been campaigning for quite some time. S-Chassis previously, and this most recent Corvette for him, definitely a weapon. Coming to this first outside zone, puts it right there. Oh boy, Brutsky, that dirt fought back, and he goes off course. Matt Field will continue on through the course, and he does need to do that. So now coming into outside zone of 4 and bringing it around. So one of the cameras just getting obliterated there.
Took one out. Yeah, I think we lost
the drone. I think that was Smash.
Oh man. Well, I mean, he's got a name for a reason, but yeah, Brutsky still sitting out there. I think I saw a D-bead on that as well. So that is not a great situation for Brutsky, who was trying to hang with Matt Field, who was out of the blocks, just absolutely blazing. And I mean, it was a big initiation. It was really cool to see, other than seeing a driver go into the dirt like that, having a pretty decent contact. So yeah, look at that. I mean, Field pushing it, and Brutsky just trying to keep pace throughout it. But I think we'll probably get another replay or two on that. The only thing I want to see is just where Matt Field is really entering on that zone. So he gets the initiation going, and then we get a little bit of an e-brake pull, but he gets into that zone early and just gets it planted. And unfortunately, Brutsky on throttle, not able to make the same grip, doesn't get through. And,
oh snap! The drone got taken down.
Up to his name.
Smash.
Yeah.
Justin Smash. All right, not Hulk.
Not Hulk Smash.
Nope. All right, we'll see if the drone will live on. He's got a few, so no big deal. But taking a look at this again, Brutsky, just that dirt, that wheel just digs in like a shovel, and it's just not going to go anywhere. So Matt working with it. Brutsky get blinded by smoke. Boom, just grabs.
There's the drone. Oh, top left. Takes a dirt clod right to the.
Oh, it hit Brutsky.
Oh,
it bounced once, twice off the back. Just taking a look at that drone angle. That was pretty.
So much carnage.
Taking that highlight reel. So
it's not often we get to see Justin Smash, like that. It's usually from his perspective.
Smashing that shot, but the drone got smashed in this case. But it looks like Brutsky. Yeah, and we are seeing that throat chop here for the boring.ride on Instagram, a private car collection. So Brutsky.
Yeah, tough go. I mean, when you have a driver like a Matt Field out front, you got to push hard. He's going to throw big in that. And yeah, there's the cleanup there from Mr. Smash.
Okay, so we'll unfortunately pull Brutsky off. This will be a bye run for Matt Field, and he will continue on. So more than halfway through our top 32. Everybody tuning in. We got Eric, the Valdez family tuning in from Texas, and we'll clean this up and we'll continue with the action, but let's take a look at a different perspective. Kevin's Corner, Kevin Wells, who is basically, he's in charge of all the technical happenings on track and off track and car build. So take a look at Kevin's Corner here at Formula Drift.
Kevin Wells, competition director of Formula Drift. We're out here at Englishtown Raceway Park. It's been a crazy weekend, thunderstorm.
Confidence boost hands. That's what is always a good rule of thumb.
No, I think that's when drivers start to get nervous.
But that seems to be the trend for us, and that's why we really force the judges to have a decision. We would like to reward a one more time as opposed to rewarding kind of like, you guys both were not great, let's see it again. We want to say like, that was so good, let's see it again and really rise to the occasion. So we'll see if Derek Madison can do it right now. Now Silver's Coil Lumber Depot, S-Chassis transition. Oh, look at Connor. All right, well, he says here, I'll watch his transition. So you talked about Jack having that kind of back off. That wasn't the case there. That was more of a similar to his older brother now in his last outside zone. You can see him, looks like D-Mads hit a little beehive there. You saw the hands swinging away at the wheel. So he just feeding the wheel, getting it across the finish line. So we'll see what the judges think. Obviously, that's D-Mad's lead, and now Connor will lead.
Yeah, both drivers really stepping it up on this one. Looks like Derek made some big improvements on the lead, and Connor in the chase obviously having a much closer proximity than what we saw before. So out of the gates, into our initiation, 3-2-1 line, and there's Derek right there. Now Connor does a good job of mirroring throughout that, and then uses that opportunity, as Jared said, to dive in through outside zone 2, and then there he is, just kind of locked in, doing a great job of mirroring all the way through. And then Derek through outside zone 4, gets that car lit off, and there's Connor throughout it. So pretty solid run from both drivers. Now that we swap it around, it's going to be a big task there for Derek to kind of put on that show in the chase that's going to mirror or do better than what we saw from Connor. And for Connor, I mean, really, that was a great lead from Derek. Yeah. It's going to have to be pretty much picture perfect to be able to take the win. We're going to be stuck doing one more times until it's dark.
Hey, you know what? I'm stoked for Connor Shanahan working this car out. You know,
yeah.
This is the freshman season for that vehicle. By no means is Connor new to drifting. Had an opportunity to hang out with him at Goodwood Festival Speed. He had some great things to say about series driving and all of it. And he's a great young man. Here goes Connor Shanahan, filling all of that outside zone 1, and there it is in outside zone 2. D-Matt shutting her down as Justin Smash finds another drone and puts it right to the side of the. Oh no! What do we got here? It looks like is he going to power through this last outside zone? And Connor finishes it. What were you oohing about? The little bead there.
There it is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Tire held on loosely and didn't let go by the rubber of his teeth.
That was crazy. He said no.
Out of here, I quit.
Yeah, that is.
Smash, you got to go through the tire. You won't.
No. He might call him out on that one, but yeah, really interesting turn of events there. So I'm curious if maybe there was some sort of contact, if something happened with Derek, and that's why I got shut down. Did that create the DB? So many things happened in quick succession. And let's see what we've got with our airforce.com replay. So good initiation there from Connor. And then Derek, I mean, in tow, a little bit shallower throughout that second outside zone. Great job through there. But Derek, yeah, completely shuts it down. Nothing happened. But really what we want to see is where did that...
that tap.
That looked like the wheel exploded on the wall, is what I'm thinking. He got into the wall just a little bit, but holds that.
Yeah, baby. That was good.
Yeah. Wow. So that's what it is. And this is one of the tough things with this car in particular is there's not a lot of room at the back end. So if you're getting close to that wall, that wheel is going to make contact, right? There, that hit. And really from our other angles, it didn't even look that bad. But then we
all
get
the
that
shrapnel spray up.
Yeah.
With the white shrapnel. And to your point, that very well might have hit that tire. And then just, you know, that K-rail that kicks out at the bottom. And
he's thinking about it here. Look at Smash is looking.
That was earlier. I said go through it, you won't.
Yeah, but yeah, there it is. Just that contact right there. You know, that's it. But he's able to finish this run, albeit with one tire barely holding on. So two big stories out of this. Derek Madison shutting it down, and Connor Shanahan losing a tire.
Yep. All right. So do we have a result here? It was the one more time battle of Shanahan and Madison. Slide him left for Madison or right for Connor Shanahan. Even with the songs of the tire leaving his vehicle, Madison shut it down early, and Connor continued on through pace. So Connor Shanahan will get a little bit of assistance here, that back left corner. They're gonna have some time between now and 16, so it's a good opportunity to work out the kinks and make sure the car is up to snuff. So a few more battles left, almost 3/4 of the way through. We got 3, 4, 5 battles left. Overall, let's take a look at the bracket. You can see the yellow names, that's who's advancing on, but still on deck. I'm going to rattle off these names. Chris Forsberg versus Hansen. James Dean versus Federico Sharif, one is Ferrari. Simon Olsson versus Ryan Tuerck. Odi Boxies versus Andy Hatley. And RCP, Arome Charpentier versus Rad Dan Berquette.
Yeah, lots of great action still to go on. And
let's go Red Dan.
For an incredibly interesting top 16. So it's gonna be good. We got a full day of awesome battles.
Yeah, it's really good. And keep in mind that later on in the day, and we saw this with Prospect, the temperatures drop. Didn't change it too much, which is nice because kind of the ambiance temperature, you know, the ambient temperature was just really chilled. So as Connor Shanahan gets towed off, let's throw it down to the other Shanahan bro, who's with Lorette Nickel. Congrats, first and foremost, to Jack.
We are having a seat because it is so hot that we are trying to stay cool. Jack Shanahan, we were talking a little earlier today about how hectic the run-up was to your top 32 battle. Tell everyone what you were dealing with.
Yeah, so obviously since the get-go this weekend, we've been struggling with a boost issue with the car, and then we finally got all that sorted, and then my last lap of practice, I was literally the last car of practice. We flicked in, and car felt a bit weird. Done the first transition, it kind of like jumped and bobbled and stuff, and I just kind of shut it down, got towed back to the pits, and we actually broke a bolt in the Y-sub arm, so damaged the hub, the bolt, the arm, and we had to rush to get all that done because we only had about 5 minutes to get ready to go to the start line. And yeah, we then got to the start line, I pulled up, Castro pulled up, we just got waved through. We were lucky we both didn't have to call a 5-minute rule basically, so we were both kind of stressing, putting on our gear in the burnout box, and then went out for the run, and my boost controller wires decided to pull out of the plug basically, so we only had like the least amount of power that the engine will make. So yeah, not amazing, but we kind of just kept the shoe in it. We said, you know, we have no other choice now, but it was kind of do or die, and yeah, we were lucky we got the win, so yeah, very good.
Hell yeah.
The Frame Pro with wireless One Connect box.
So stressed and low power, and he takes the win. Well done, Jack.
Okay, so Connor Shanahan, the other Shanahan, the younger brother, getting towed off, but they're both in the top 16. That is absolutely fantastic. Justin Smash was getting the shot, and again, he is our FPV pilot, always goes in, sacrifices it for the shot. Here we go, bang, and pow! Looked like something from Star Wars, shot down, they came from behind. Hold, and you can see right there, Justin Smash in the drone, top left corner, bang, dirt clod, down goes Smash. Into the windshield of Dmitry Brutsky, bounces off, but, you know, he's got other drones for one. Don't know if that's going to fight back, but yeah. Shot, Justin.
I think that's it. We'll have a little memorial for it somewhere in the infield later on.
In the driver intro?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, remembering drone 6.
R.I.P. to old Blinky.
Yeah, old Blinky.
All right, there it is. Getting towed off.
Yeah.
Mara Luck, get a little assistance there. And
let's go, Shelly.
Team Hansen, TH, Shelly Hansen, competing in the Prospect Championship, and Rudy here, Shelly in the ear of her husband, going against Krista Forsberg.
Okay, so the husband competes in the pro. Okay, awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Since 2004, 3-time champion.
Yeah, we're doing some stats. We realized that Forsberg has battled 114 drivers in his career.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
And yeah, I loved your stat. How many drivers have total from day one?
Drivers that have qualified for an event, just about 300. It's like 296.
All right, well, Chris Forsberg is one of them, as is Rudy Hansen, obviously. Here we go, Chris Forsberg in that first outside zone, the all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z. Rudy Hansen dives out of the smoke. Forsberg into that second outside zone and into the third. Rudy Hansen tucking in nicely, really mimicking the angle of Forsberg in the outside zone.
Oh, he got lost in the snow.
That is not the line you want to be.
Yeah, he got lost in the smoke right there. Do you know where Forsberg was?
Yeah, great run there. Sorry, correction, 196, not 296. That's a lot of drivers, but either way, tons and tons of drivers. Forsberg running through, I mean, over half of them, and just a great run here. Really pushing the pace and getting that initiation done. And then Rudy trying to tuck into that first part. Gets a good, I mean, he's doing a good job of mirroring both through that first outside zone and through the transition. And then Chris here gets on the pedal, starts to push. And this is where Rudy makes a bit of a mistimed transition, and it takes in a massive cut through the track in order to get across that finish line. So really, I mean, for Chris, laying down the smoke, putting up the screen, and then when they go to that transition for 4, unfortunately, Rudy just lost track of where he was.
Got the wrong directions.
Yeah.
Got the wrong directions to location.
Took a right at Albuquerque, not a left.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sometimes, you know, you got to go right to go left. We're not Jersey right now. No jug handles, but the roundabout.
Yeah.
Look, kids, Big Ben Parliament. All right, here we go. It is Rudy Hansen out front, Christopher Forsberg in the chase position. Let's see if Hansen can rise to the occasion. He's going to try to force an error at Forsberg because, again, that outside zone 4 by Hansen, he went really shallow on it. And there goes Hansen into outside zone 2. He fills all of it. Chris Forsberg, good proximity. Now coming to outside zone 3. Hansen brings it on in. He is definitely putting down a heater of a lead run. Forsberg slides on. Ooh, Hansen.
Oh!
He straightens out across the finish line. That is going to hurt him.
That was close. That was close.
Obviously, you can see the judging critiquing right there and hitting those tablets, and that will be Christopher Forsberg.
Yeah, it was a really solid run there from Rudy. I mean, I'm loving the way that he's been developing and getting more confident, especially in the pro car. Did quite well with the pro spec car, but now that they're on the bigger tires, now the competition's getting more fierce. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but Rudy does a good job through the vast majority of this and just tries to really push the pace. Would have liked to have seen him get into angle a little bit earlier before getting into outside zone 4, and it was him not being at angle entering 4. Just had so much speed, and then really what that turns into is him shooting off track, getting into the dirt, and yeah, not a great way to end that run for Rudy Hansen, but fun guy, fun times, fun glasses.
Mushrooms? Fun guy?
Fun guy.
He's pretty fly for a fun guy.
He is.
And there is Christopher Forsberg. You make my dreams come true, like Hall & Oates right there. Chris and I went and got Hall & Oates tattoo.
I love him. I love him.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, no, it's just a great couple's tattoo.
We've been talking about that tattoo for 15 years.
I know. Glad you finally did it.
Yeah, it was great. So, all right. So James the Machine Dean right now, currently sitting second in points. It is a must-win. So here's Frederick Aasbo. He's already in the 16. James Dean wins. He gets 10 points richer. He'll move up to 140. Adam LZ, he's already in, so he's going to hold right there. But James could obviously, again, 10 points for every win. So
Federico Sharifo.
Italian pilot going against James the Machine.
That Ferrari is huge in person. Very wide car, bigger than a Mustang.
He's changed his livery and his sponsor in the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Mustang RTR. The stats here, you can see overall matches. Look at that winning percentage, 79% by James the Machine Dean. I mean,
when your severe asthma says you can't, Tespire says you can. Tespire is an add-on treatment for people.
He is unarguably best drift in the world. I mean, he has Drift Masters championships. He has Irish Drift Championship, European, Oman. He's got it all. And the only 4-time FD champion. James the Machine Dean throws it on in and uses all the cars. Fiorella gets out to that outside zone eventually. Now diving in on the second outside zone. James the Machine Dean into the outside zone 2 and the 3, sticking to it like Velcro. Now into that last outside zone. The Irish pilot brings it on in. I mean, textbook. Absolutely textbook.
Insane. James is on another level.
Aliens in the future will look back like, here is drifting. Bang, right there. That's what you get. That was a gift, my friends.
Yeah, it was a great run, and really when the drivers meeting happened this morning, the drivers were asking different questions about how to do different things, and you know, James is used as such an amazing representative example of how to get around this track. And really, I want to give the flowers to Fiorella and Federico Sharifo, who's getting this car dialed in. Throughout practice, things look so much more stable, getting through these runs with a lot of style and grace, but I mean, you're up against just an absolute weapon that is James Dean throughout this run. He really is the shining example of how to run this track in so many different ways. So for Federico, it's just not a pairing that's going to be great. It's going to be a tough battle no matter what. But for Federico, does a good job of staying in this fight, getting the angle out on those zones, and just doing everything he can to keep in the battle against that absolutely monstrous Mustang. If you look at Fiorella, is a big car.
Yeah.
And it still kind of looks small against the Mustang.
It definitely rivals it as far as size, but this is just a case of, what would you say, Godzilla versus King Kong here as far as the size of the vehicles. And King Kong is James Dean. Didn't know King Kong was Irish because he is definitely a beast. But look at that, the Fiorella.
Lovely, Federico, lovely.
Dean just bathing in the smoke. Look at him, he's
I'm so proud. Wow.
Does he need to do that? I don't think so, but he just feels compelled. This gentleman, I feel like he's born.
Oh my God.
And that throws him off. So not exactly the most ideal line for James Dean. He applied the pressure in the second, had to back off in third. And
Federico, that was amazing. That was amazing. I've never seen Federico drive like that before.
Yeah, a little bit, and it is definitely a cause and effect thing that we do need to take a look at here as well.
Look at that.
Federico does a fairly decent job through that first outside zone. Transitions a little bit later through the second outside zone, and James really starting to push the pace there, closing up that gap. Well, Federico.
Oh my God! Finally, that Ferrari showing with skills.
Not too bad, but James really having to take.
Let's go, Federico! That is so awesome.
How this all came together, and it's showing how Federico starting to get this car dialed. He's got a couple new guys on the crew, a couple new voices in his head, kind of giving him some tips and tricks, and it's made a noticeable difference. We mentioned it even through seating and everything else. It's just looks like a different Fede. It's just unfortunate that different Fede is coming up against, you know, the GOAT. So just tough on that one.
All right.
Oh man, they should have given it one more time.
Sharif looks like James Dean gets the victory. So congratulations to him as he will advance on.
Yeah.
So congratulations to James the Machine Dean moving on, and that's how it works. So he gained some points with that win, 10 points. And
Minowa is 4th. Boxies 5th. Okay.
She's got Connor.
It was a feisty moment for Connor. You're dealing with quite a few things happening back here.
Yeah, hard work, a lot of hard work. First battle, to be honest, I just gave him more breathing room than I should have. That's the good thing about drifting these days. Everybody's pushing, you know, everybody's putting in the work. Got caught a little bit off guard, and yeah, had to run it back. And on the start of the lead run, lost the power steering pump somewhere, and I did not think I was going to be able to hold on to it to the finish line, but there's a little bit of will left with this car. Not much, I can tell you that for sure, but I want a carbon trophy, and I hope it happens sooner rather than later. So if I have to drive around the problems, I got to try right now.
Connor, thank you very much.
All right. Well, some great insight there as this gentleman rapping out about their Seahausen. Congratulations to him.
Let's go, Olsson! Tuerck!
Nice. Worked on.
Hold on.
About that. Right. Well, some great insight there as.
I'm a little hungry. Let me go grab me some oranges or something.
This gentleman rapping out about their Seahausen. Congratulations to him and his wife celebrating an anniversary. I know he worked on James's camp, and now he was spotted for Federico Sharif. Might have a little inside communication utilizing, but obviously not enough. Here we go. Simon Olsson here going against Ryan Tuerck. Simon Olsson in that Mark V Toyota Supra, now transitioning into that second outside zone. Ryan Tuerck gripping up. You saw him coming shallow in that second outside zone. Simon Olsson filling all of outside zone 3. Want to see how deep he was. There's that angle that we can definitely all appreciate, including the judges, or most importantly the judges. Now across the finish line, slamming up in that transition. The outside zone 2, Tuerck gripped up. Want to get that overhead view, and Simon really expediting this course. You saw him just hitting those zones very quickly, but want to get that overhead view.
Yeah, really it's the first outside zone that's kind of the definitive moment here. So Simon gets that initiation done, but very shallow through that first outside zone. Tons of speed coming in, and Tuerck actually transitions really, really early there and doesn't get the car floated out through the second outside zone, and then just has to play catch up. Now, what I do like is that Tuerck still makes an attempt to get through outside zone 3.
Auto insurance rates went up again in 2024, which means it might be a smart time to shop around for a new policy. With Credit Karma,
he's not completely beelining. He's still trying to, gain some points, if you will, even though that gap is there. So for Simon, first outside zone, pretty shallow, leaves it, transitions, but Tuerck, his transition was just mistimed, and that forced him to miss all of outside zone 2. But then he does he's trying at least. He's getting a wheel just on the edge of that zone through outside zone 3, but really it's all Olsson out front after that point. So you can't make any, real definitive decisions right now, but it's going to be an interesting one as we swap it around. What's this mean for Tuerck? It means he's got to lay down an absolute heater, and Simon just has to stay in that battle. So,
all right, what's the 411? The 411 works. Vehicle again, the Rain-X Toyota GR.
Go Ryan! Don't let Simon outdo you. Come on.
Good festival speed of this past weekend.
Let's go.
Comes in a good angle here. Now we're talking about competitive drifting, not just ripping that 66 stout. Dials into the second. So here is exactly what he needs to do. Ryan Tuerck placed the car perfectly. Well done, but cannot shake Simon Olsson. Oh, and just as I say that, Simon comes out of the smoke undershoot, that outside zone 4. So
the win still goes to Simon, but at least Ryan, went out with the bang.
I'd say a good lead run on both sides of the lane.
Yeah, and both really have a few spots that kind of need that cleaning up, but really Tuerck on that first outside zone looks solid, and then Simon being a little bit shallower, second outside zone looks really good there from Tuerck, and Simon now trying to push the pace, gain that proximity, and he gets caught out just a little bit on that transition. When he gets back on throttle, that car bites, shoots him in through, and misses that part of the zone. So for Simon, who seemed to be on a bit of a heater there throughout practice, just not really getting it all together on this. But Tuerck making those changes, having a great lead run, filling those zones, kind of back to that old Tuerck in that lead. I mean, looks like he had fun out there again, like big swinging out, pushes out nice and wide, has that tire smoke going the whole time. Maybe just knowing he had those mistakes previously. So both drivers having a few notes to take if they move on, and for the other driver, some notes to take before the next event.
Refinement. That's the buzzword that I can think of for both sides on both camps, and especially going into 16, whoever advances on. So here is our BC Racing side-by-side. So Simon Olsson leading on the left, Ryan Tuerck leading on the right. So I really kind of want to focus and pay attention to the chase runs here.
Yeah, so for me, Simon didn't really provide an opportunity in the lead for the first outside zone for Tuerck. And that kind of threw a little bit off there, because we do have to remember the judges really want you to more or less open up that pocket. And then although Tuerck did lose a lot of proximity and did make that mistake in the second outside zone, he did try in the chase to kind of make up those points and keep a line throughout the other zones, and that to me, I think it's important. Instead of trying to cut the track out, it's like, okay, I might be further back, but at least I'm still getting that line. Maybe I'm mirroring the angle. I just don't have that proximity. It's those three things you have to play in balance. And for a lot of drivers, they cut the line, they cut the angle to try and gain proximity. And you get rid of two things out of the three. That's a lot worse, in my opinion, than just getting rid of one.
Yep.
So.
All right, the judges analyzing this one. Ryan Tuerck. So Ryan Tuerck in that Toyota GR Corolla. So taking a look And there's Matt Sopa down the line. He is our starter during pro, and then he is my co-host up here in Prospect. Jacob, you get to take a little breather.
Yeah. Friday's a nice day for me.
Friday's chill. You get to kind of enjoy it. I've never been and just watched a Formula Drift event.
We can do it if you want. I don't know if you want to like take a break one day, Sopa and I'll take over. Just even a couple runs. I don't know.
Nah, I'm good.
It'd be weird. I think it'd be strange.
I think it'd be really odd.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. Oh, look at this one more time, and it was not unanimous. So that last one right there with the Colombian, that is Reese Marin. So Reese signing with Simon Olsson, but Tuerck, I would say maybe even dodged a bullet there. So getting that one more time was definitely, Tuerck had that early mistake. I would say that Simon had the later mistake, but the judges taking a look overall, and again, let's take a look here. Throwing it down to you, Reese, as we take a look at our side-by-side.
Yeah, we can see here that they're going into outside zone 1. You can see Simon is shallow in outside zone 1. Going into outside zone 2, we can see that there's a mess up with Tuerck. Doesn't really calculate his transition. Kind of feel like he did it on his own. You see there's a huge separation here, and then going into outside zone 4. Tuerck does a really good job in the lead. Simon miscalculates outside zone 4. I felt that when it came down to it, all the errors, I felt that there was more on Simon's side of it, but the judges felt that with everything that happened in 1 and in 4, they evened it out, so we're going one more time.
Yeah, can totally see on that one, Reese. I mean, it's both drivers need to clean things up.
Get it tidy, put those crumbs under the rug as we are getting through our top 32, and we will take a short break. 3 more battles left because that's a one more time, but we still got Boxies versus Hatley, RCP versus Dan Berquette. When we come back, more action here at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The centers for all your automotive needs.
There it is. Vote now. Also, your fan favorite. So that $100 at the top of the season, $20 at each round. There's a pool, right? I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, but Formula Drift wants to give you the platform in order to do it.
Yeah.
So here, so we thought we were going to advance on, but it looks like the drivers are ready. They got their fresh rubber underneath their vehicles. So Simon Olsson and Ryan Tuerck back at it. I would say, I think Ryan made a pretty big mistake there, but they made mistakes in different portions of the track. Yeah. And I think, to my point earlier about forcing the judges to make a decision, and also they were both really good runs, but they both had those little mistakes that I believe do warrant a one more time.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's tough too. You got to get out of your head about it and just go back to driving and go, okay, I did it. I've got another opportunity here. And we've already seen it with a couple of one more times where the next battle is just absolutely epic, and maybe that's what we get here.
I also think it's interesting, Simon Olsson coming into FD, campaigning the Mark V Supra, right? Yeah. He doesn't abandon that, but he parks it because he jumps onto Odie Boxies' team. The knowledge that he learned driving for Odie and applying it now to the Supra, I feel like he's a different driver with this marriage of man and machine. So Simon Olsson out front, Ryan Tuerck drops that back right and looks more Dirt-X as opposed to Rain-X, that Toyota GR Corolla. Now that second outside zone, he struggles a little bit once again as Simon Olsson fills the second, now into the third, and out of that into the fourth outside zone and bring it across the finish line.
Yeah, very, very similar to what we saw before. As you can see the team there, a little bit of gasp of what kind of just transpired. And really, it's very, very similar to what we saw before, where in this case, Simon Olsson on the first outside zone gets in with a ton of speed, but then pushes out of that zone a little bit early. And you can see that gets into the zone, and then Tuerck just kind of overshoots it, gets bathed in smoke, goes to that transition. Once again, missing that second outside zone, cuts that, back on throttle, finds the grip, third outside zone, one tire in. Olsson's way out front, transitions out, and then both drivers do a decent job through outside zone 4. It's a pretty big mirror replay there. So Tuerck got a little bit aggressive through the first outside zone in the chase, but Simon not as deep as he should have been, leaves that zone early. One of those kind of balance mistakes. Yep. But we'll flip things around, see maybe we'll get a different story on this run.
One more time, a battle, the second half of this battle. Ryan Tuerck will now be out front, Simon Olsson in the chase position, so mistakes there getting disrupted, and that was just absolutely testimonial as we see Mr. Brian Hartsock. He works on the vehicle. He wires a lot of different vehicles there. Definitely a talented young man, Mr. Hartsock. So as Ryan Tuerck initiates across the nose of that Mark V Supra, the Toyota GR Corolla transitions. Need to see that overhead view. Where was Simon in that smoke? Comes a little unwound there. We saw some contact, but keeps on pace into this last outside zone. How are they going to navigate? Man, that Corolla is kicking off a ton of smoke. Keep in mind, they did change tire manufacturers from last year. This is a freshman season on a new tire manufacturer for him and Freddie on those Kendas, and it's worked out for, you know, it was interesting too. Freddie talked about tires, notably he talked about the front tires, and which got him the win.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge, and having that grip in your front tire means that there's a lot of different things that you can do with the car and some confidence that you can get into it, and there's a pretty confident run there from Tuerck, who just seems to have this continuous thing where he's getting into the zone and kind of V'ing it off. It's not a big curved C. It's got a bit of a spike to it. And we saw that in the chase. We see that a little bit in the lead there from Ryan. But first outside zone leaves a little bit earlier, which puts him on that tighter line. Transitions really late, and that's where you get that V, where he's not filling the whole zone, and Simon's got to adapt throughout that whole thing. So it's a little bit better than what we saw previously, but yeah, the amount of smoke that Tuerck is kicking up is absolutely epic.
Yeah, it is not a judge factor or criteria, but it just shows you the wheel speed, shows you the car just fighting it. And I think this is, and you talk about that V line or the B line coming into it, and then less smooth, or they talk about a J or a C. These cars are gripping up and they're shooting out. You know, they have more side bite than what we saw last night with Forsberg.
Yeah, so balancing this out, first outside zone on lead, I'd probably give to Tuerck. I mean, second outside zone, pretty similar, although in this case, Simon's got a better chase. Third outside zone, really Tuerck's having to fight back through it, and then the separation gets pretty balanced there. So it's going to be a tough one. I don't think it's the way either driver knows how to drive or can drive. It's not maybe the best of their abilities in it, and they're either fighting with something mechanical or in their own heads about it a little bit, because that's the tough part. The battle between the years is so massive in this sport.
Jerry's made headlines over the past year as one of the best ways to save on car insurance. See, most people only shop for car insurance once or twice in their lifetime and then live with the rates that the company gives them.
Well, what's interesting here too is requesting them one more time. I would say it was pretty comparable, and I'm going to venture to say maybe even just a little more lacking than the first run. You know, the mistakes seemed that much more grandiose as compared to the first. So,
yeah,
you know, this is a tough call. If it goes either way, going into the 16, you know, they're going to do battle against James Dean.
Right.
So, all right. Go to the gym right now. Start sparring with each other, because you know you're going to go against the defending champion, 4-time champion, second in points, James the Machine Dean. So yeah, either one of these guys could definitely be a battle against James, or you know, could be a contender against James Dean, but they're gonna have to rise, because we just saw a picture perfect run from James Dean. And look at this, Ryan Tuerck gets the victory overall, and Ryan Tuerck gets the win over Simon Olsson, and there it is. So high fives, handshakes. You can see Ryan Tuerck's team standing up, and as they stand up, Ryan Tuerck rises to the occasion. So Ryan Tuerck makes his way back with 2 battles left. And we have Odie Boxies and Andy Haley, RCP, and Dan Berquette. That 4-11. Here it is, our Formula Drift Judges Review. Reese, down to you.
So we can see here, once we're going outside zone 1, you can see Simon leaves outside zone 1 early. The hit happens with Ryan Tuerck, messes him up. That's what we see, the error going there in the chase. We do see that Ryan does hit the wall as well too. Comparably, when we put those two together, you see that Simon just does a huge error, throws Ryan completely off. The rest of the run is comparable as well too, but the biggest deficit was outside zone 1. Simon gets on throttle late, leaves outside zone 1 early, and that's the reason the Tuerck got into him, messed up his whole entire run, and we ended up going with the win, Ryan Tuerck.
Okay, so more of a cause and effect there with Simon's, you know, lead not amazing. Tuerck did what he could with what he had.
Yeah, he was right where he needed to be, and if Simon would have stayed longer in outside zone 1, we believe we wouldn't have had that contact, but we did, and the domino effect took place.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the insight on that. Always learning something every day.
Yeah, and it's just that. So Ryan Tuerck, he's going to need to really tighten it up. You know, again, going against James Dean, he's definitely a contender. He has it. He knows he has it. Just one of the most nerve-wracking battles is top 32. So
Odie!
In our Rockstar entering top 32. Odie Boxies.
Oh my God!
Two-wheel motion. The dirt grabbed his car, threw it
We thought we were about to have another Shelly incident with Odie.
And the Evil Autoworks BMW, that was absolutely insane.
Oh my God.
Suspension. And keep in mind, Andy Hatley did not need to come.
He had to shut that down. If he had kept throttling, he would have flipped.
Off course, rips up, throws it on two wheels, slams down. That was unreal.
Yeah, that is not a representation of what Odie's driving is like. So we get back to our replay here. I'm really interested to see how this all came together. So
Yeah, he did a zigzag.
Fast, has such a good launch, but yeah, just a little wide, just goes wide. That's all there is to it. I don't know if, you know, you kind of always want to think like, oh, maybe something else happened that caused it, but he didn't really get the tires lit off. So I don't know. I don't want to make an assumption and say maybe something else happened before the incident, but the tires didn't really get lit off. He didn't really have the angle into it. He had tons of speed going in. Look at e-brake starts to get the wheels spinning, but just
he came in shallow and that sent him wide.
There's usually a ton of smoke before they even get to that point, and for Odie that just didn't happen. So super strange as that car taking a big bit of damage,
limping his way back. And this is a season where Odie Boxies really focused on his program. You know, previous years he's campaigned another vehicle along his side in Pro Spec. Again, Simon Olsson, you know, campaigned his vehicle the last couple of years, and now it was just him and his team. He's brought in Justin Pollock as a spotter. Amy's contributing still as well. Talking about his wife, she's won Spotter of the Year multiple times. Very talented, very intelligent, and you know, obviously that communication level is very high from household to racetrack. But with that carbon Kevlar kit being thrashed up, I assume that's going to be all she wrote, and that is it. So very, very unfortunate for Odie Boxies. You don't want to lose that way. But I think you're right, Jacob. You spotted that smoke or lack thereof and not getting it lit going into that first outside zone. So very unfortunate, but you know who's stoked right now? Again, you don't want to win, but a win is a win. As we clear up the track, get the dirt, get the tire debris, the carbon Kevlar, all of it. Andy Hatley will get a win, and this is going to be a bye run for him.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of luck that's involved with this as well, and sometimes you get that little bit of luck. You know, you get to make it into that top 16 ceremony, you get to hear your name and the fans cheer, and that can build up some more of that momentum, and then you have a really good run through the rest of the event. So maybe just that little bit of luck for Andy Hatley is what he's going to need to start pushing through. And I mean, his next battle will be either Rome or Dan, so won't be easy either way. But yeah, let's see. So this looks good. Already got the tire smoke going. Grabs the e-brake to get the car settled. Gets back on throttle, and the car just doesn't bite. And then, yeah, wow, you can see just how much energy goes through that car to bring that corner up. And
like
good
all
job.
3 wheels. I think just the dirt wheel was touching the ground.
Yeah, almost a pirouette at that point. And good job for Andy Hatley for being aware and doing that. Can feel that.
You could just read it. The body language is painfully obvious.
You think about everything they go through just to show up to these events, and then they go through practice, and they you know, things break, and they put in all the work, and then all of that leads up to one run, and you make a couple 100 feet down the go, and hit the dirt, chuck the car, and that's it, all that work.
What did I say right before their battle? I said top 32 is one of the most nerve-wracking battles. And this is why, because it could just go south so quickly and not make it in top 16. Because once you make it through 32, not only, it's not just about the driver intro and all that, but you know, it's not the driver intro, it's just the advancement, it's the confidence booster, it's moving on. So we have one more battle left.
Oh man, the Kevlar ripped.
With the Asus ROG Flow Z13, you don't have to
pick
between
the system built for gaming. Usually the Kevlar is all about
it has the Ryzen AI Max processor and a unified memory architecture.
That impact was so heavy, broke the carbon Kevlar.
We're feeling it. We're feeling the emotions up for him up here in the booth.
I know you're taking stock of everything that just happened. What are you processing at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a fine line. There's pieces of the track missing there, and I went probably to ride the outside line, which is something that can't happen with the condition of the track right now, and it just grabbed the tire and pulled it right off the wheel, and it sucked me into the off the track. So Yeah, I'm absolutely gutted. We were in a position to, I felt like, win the whole event. The practice was going really well. And just, you know, there's a very long time I sat in the car before this battle. There was a commercial break, then one more time, and I think I just, you know, pushed it just a little too hard. Lost maybe a little bit of muscle memory, but at the same time, the visuals seemed fine. So it's just, yeah, the track is tricky when there's a little bit of concrete missing there. So, yeah, just absolutely gutted. I'm so sad for the team, for my family back at home, for everyone, because this is a huge blow with points.
Odie, thanks for speaking with us. Jared.
Just looking at it at speed at 100%, it looks violent. I mean, it looks, again, we always reference skateboard tricks. You just said an impossible there, Jacob. I'm feeling for him. We're all bummed for him. Andy Hatley sits and waits, and he talked about it, you know, sitting, waiting, commercial break, this, that. You know that's going to potentially happen. When it's go time, you got to be on. And like you said, I mean, look at that, taking evidence back, looking more like Jurassic Park, and, you know, kind of an adventurer right there. What do they call it when you dig for bones?
Archaeologist.
Yeah, so he looks more of an archaeologist than he does a drifter right now. Digging for treasure.
Yeah, this is how it goes, though. You've got to meter your approach coming into it. As he said, he wanted to go for that full wide line, and this, you know, the difference between what just happened to him and potentially winning this battle is a couple of inches. That's really it, because, you know, you get on the throttle a fraction of a second, 100th, you know, 1,000th of a second earlier, and you dig out of that, and then a little bit late, that's what ends up happening. But let's keep things rolling. Top 16. This is how things are coming together.
One more battle left, or we have a bye run and then a battle, but LZ and TLO on that left-hand side. Trenton Beecham versus Jack Shanahan. Connor O'Sullivan versus Jeff Jones. Minowa versus Dylan Hughes. That should be a fun one. Frederick Aasbo versus Connor Shanahan. You got Matt Field versus Chris Forsberg, two homies. They're going to be repping that Neft vodka. And then you got James Dean versus Ryan Tuerck. And then now Andy Hatley versus RCP or Dan Berquette. That will be our final battle. So there's Andy Hatley in the Evil Autoworks BMW, the Drift Wizard, with some sorcery. Maybe put a spell on Odie Boxies and harness the power of the dirt to come up and grab him by the wheel. But Andy Hatley will get the victory after a bye run. One more battle, RCP, Rome Charpentier versus Rad Dan Berquette.
Yeah, I've been looking for getting me dated.
8 after this, we got Utah Long. So talking about that.
And Tuerck and James Dean are having a conversation. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. James coming over to congratulate Ryan, and they're going to be matching up in the next battle. And Ryan, it was a weird one for you, and some things you're going to reset and do differently for top 16 battle.
Yeah, that was just I was just talking to Simon about it. I can't believe it was judged that way. I totally understand, because from a driver perspective, how they judged it is exactly how I felt in the car. So I feel like we did get very lucky with how that was called. But I mean, Simon's a great driver. I knew he was going to be tough, and for a top 32 battle, these never get any easier. And yeah, we'll just take it, try to keep the momentum going, and clean up my lead lap a little bit. That second one had a couple mistakes, and just try to go back to what my the first battle's lead lap was, which was for me, that was probably my best lap of the weekend so far.
So best lap of the weekend, and we're looking for more momentum. Ryan Tuerck moving into top 16.
And Ryan said it, I think we were just talking about, he said it very honestly. He says, this is the way it's judged, this is criteria. Hats off to Simon. This is the way it went. I'm stoked. So here we go. One more battle left. RCP and Rad Dan Berquette.
Oh!
Wrong turn there for RCP. Dan Berquette.
What happened?
For it. Oh, what is happening? Hey. Final battle and final push. Literally, these guys are going for it.
That's
heads are falling off.
That was interesting. That was, I really need to see the replay, because at first glance, it just looked like Rome over-rotated, drove off track. But was there some sort of contact? Because Dan was coming up pretty quick. So let's see. Rome there, and then, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It looks like Rome's trying to throttle out of it to keep things going. and it ends up pushing him off track. So the next question is, where did Rome initiate? Is Dan coming in too hot? Did Rome slow down too much? Initiates.
Didn't look like he was offline. It looked like he was getting him lit.
So did Rome get back on throttle at the right time, or did Dan come through? And this is one of those scenarios that drivers were asking about.
Why did they remove the tie pass lights? Oh, they are on there. It's just hard to see them because the sun is bright. Okay.
So we're gonna need to, to kind of understand how this all plays out, because that was.
Yeah, they should bring back the side of the windshield as well, where they had them in the top and the sides, just so you can see what's happening.
But ultimately, judges looking for the drivers to get back on throttle before outside zone 1. If you are doing a decel as well, you're already at angle. So let's see. This is where it is quite bright out, but let's see if we can spot anything on the decel lights. So we're seeing, I mean, Dan is coming in hot, that is for sure. Rome gets that car out to angle. See that e-brake pull? Rome is back on throttle there before the first outside zone, but Dan is still coming at him hot. Yeah, so that's how that ends up playing out. Now Rome, Dan's still kind of in the side of him. I don't think he was pushing him at that point, but either way, Rome is trying to throttle the car out. So that contact looks like it happens
because of Rome.
First outside zone, but from first glance, at least from my
Rome
side,
hit that handbrake too early.
back on throttle through that from our
You should wait until you get slightly a little bit close into the zone and then hit that handbrake. So, because Dan was still building up his momentum. So when you're in the middle of building up that momentum, you can't slow down instantly.
Yeah, just going for it. Take a licking and keep on ticking.
So where this comes into play is the judges will have to deem it who's at fault, and that will then dictate how the timeouts may be used. So the driver that is at fault has to call his comp timeout. The driver who is not at fault is given that 10 and could potentially call another 5 on top of it, giving him a lot of time to be able to get the car fixed. Now, fingers crossed we don't have to go 15 minutes, because this is our last battle of the top 32. But we'll see what these drivers want to do and see what the judges think of who is at fault in that incident.
So Dan Berquette is at fault. We are hearing from the judges. So Dan Berquette, he was in the chase position. He is at fault. So as you just elaborate further there for you, Jacob, Dan Berquette, if he wants to get hands on the car, inspect the vehicle, he would need to call his competition timeout. And RCP, Rome Charpentier, is allowed a complimentary 10-minute assessment of his vehicle and would not have to utilize his competition timeout. So here's another look at it. So RCP, Rome Charpentier, and the BMW leading. So initiates, lights up, doesn't look like he's off, doesn't look like he's slowing too much.
Yeah.
And Dan Berquette gives him a little hip check and sends him.
They want to make sure that Rome is on throttle before the contact. Just he's getting either way. Call
good of our.
What is this?
Oh, man.
That's good enough. This is a distributor Cougar.
Does it take useless? This interview is useless.
I figured we haven't seen Odie struggle in a little while, so we might as well try again. Odie, O'Reilly Auto Part Random Part Challenge. What do we got?
This reminds me of my first car in the side of the distributor. Did I get it?
I mean, it's
yeah.
It's a distributor condenser out of a 1971 Mercury Cougar.
Okay, I definitely didn't have a Mercury Cougar.
That's okay. I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Inside a distributor, I remember seeing these things.
This guy knows.
Yes.
See, I had a feeling he was going to get
I'm
it.
a tinkerer, man. Yes.
Victim number 2, St. Louis O'Reilly Auto Part Random Part Challenge. Ken, what the heck that is?
This is some kind of resistor?
Final answer? Good enough for me. That works. It is a distributor condenser for a 1971 Mercury Cougar.
I would have never guessed this.
Neither would I.
Why do you have random ass parts from random ass cars in this game?
So that you can struggle, my friend.
God.
My dad knew what it was immediately. Carlos knew what it was, and then I didn't have a clue.
Generational gap.
Yeah, carburetor activities.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, thank you.
70.
You're gonna mill out. So we started.
Welcome back. You can see in the cockpit there of RCP. Let's quickly throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette.
Rome, just an update on the condition of the car.
So left rear is bent 10 mil out. So we started with, I think, 15 or 20 mil toe in, and we're 10 mil out. So we moved about 30 mil the wrong direction. So the left wheel is now pointed outward. So the guys are just trying to make the tie rod as long as possible without it falling out, obviously, and try and get me at least both of them pointed kind of straight or at least forward a little bit.
Thanks.
All right, so that is the old makeshift bubblegum zip tie race tape kind of deal. So Rad Dan sitting on line, always great looking cars, good liveries, good all that, but
yeah,
right now I sense a bit of frustration in his camp.
Yeah, of course, it's going to happen, and really, for the spotters, for the teams, for the crew, you're always going to fight for your driver, right? You're going to fight for every little bit, any kind of advantage you can get in. You're going to be like, hey, what about this? What about that? So, lots of people sharing their opinions, sharing their thoughts on this, using past precedent, things like that, because this is a team sport. This is very much a team sport, and that is not just the mechanics, that is the spotters, that is everybody going like, okay, what about this scenario? Why is this going that way? So cool to see, lots of fun behind the scenes. Yeah.
And technology is our friend. I mean, if you think back to 2004 to 2025, technology is our friend. Now, this has been accumulated data that we're going to have Reese Marin elaborate on. So I'm just going to throw it down to you, Reese. What are we looking at here as far as momentum, decel, and this outside zone?
We're going, then this.
You can see those red lines, obviously 1 and 2. Fifth of the contact with the modification.
Safe like repair. Perfecting your swing is hard.
Nice shot, Dad.
Interesting, and really the mental game now of Dan. Can he get himself into a good place? Can he, you're going to be heated. Whenever you're deemed at fault for something, you're going to
invigorate a lot of different drifting fans, and it's always great to hear, like, I love RCP, or I love Dan Berquette. It's always great.
A lot of the work from even the level of nuts.
All right, let's get it. Come on, Dan. Give us a good lead.
Man as well, going over to Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and he's again, a lot of these drivers really give back, almost like a drifter philanthropy. All right, here we go. Rad Dan Berquette initiating his first outside zone. That mark.
Beautiful.
Good, clean initiation. Just really turning on the smoke machine into the second outside zone. So RCP brings it on, and he's back there quite a bit. So he is definitely fighting those banged up gremlins underneath the vehicle. Now coming to last outside zone 4, really almost tapping that wall, putting down one solid lead run. Is that enough? RCP back there quite a bit. If Rome Charpentier does make it through, he has some time to work on his vehicle before top 32. Local time is 5:30, and we're back here with our United States Air Force opening ceremony, not until later here in the evening. But let's take a look at it here again, Jacob.
Yeah, Rad Dan, I mean, he has calmed himself down. There's not a lot of big mistakes throughout this run. Does a pretty good job there through the first outside zone. Leaves a little bit early, gets that transition done just before he gets into the second outside zone, where really Rome very much playing it safe back there. He's leaving a lot on the table. Now, having a car that's broken like that, having to try and just get some sort of alignment that makes sense, not easy. Does not make the car easy to drive, and can tell by him, initiating pretty late in there and just getting the car through the run. Well, Rad Dan up front throws down a solid run, and that's the part that kind of hurts, is that Dan is putting down a great lead run here, and if things don't go his way, it's such a missed opportunity because of a mistake by not getting that speed right on initiation on a previous one. So Rome limping it through, and really for Dan, it was a great run, and yeah, whatever happens here, it's just unfortunate.
Right out of the gate too.
Yeah.
It wasn't outside zone 4. It wasn't, so just that contact really disrupting the flow of the run as we get that overhead view once again. This is second run, so this is Rad Dan initiated. Look at Rome. I mean, really failure to launch. He is fighting that car. He is trying to hold on, and to be honest, it might be enough.
I don't know. There's a couple things that I was looking at with the chase. Is when he actually initiated and how far back he was. Like, the term inactive chase is a tough one. It's kind of a term that holds a lot of weight, and not one you very much want to apply. But for Rome, that car is not in great shape. Him just getting around the track, in my mind, is a bit of a win. He did leave some time on the table as well, and they made the decision to try and just repair instead of replace. So Yeah, interesting. We're getting the side-by-side on this. I mean, I might, either way, we got some dinner coming up, so I'm gonna have a long conversation with the judges on this one. But yeah, just the overhead view tells a lot of the tales, because Rome does get through this run, but it's not ideal to say the least. So yeah, it's really, really interesting how this all came about, because really Rome just need to kind of throw that run together, put something on the board in order to get through. So
talking about breaking cars, well, breaking bread here. If whatever, regardless of what scenario comes out of this, Rad Dan, you know, I would say at maximum it would go one more time or Rome. I don't think Dan would get the victory here. Dan is hopefully kind of best case scenario praying for one more time.
Yeah, and really judges, you know, looking at that initiation to see if that car, you know, did initiate, because if not, that's pretty big on the behalf of Rome. So just a interesting way to potentially be wrapping up top 32 here today.
And it never fails. I was like, oh, cool. We have our second to last battle. And usually something happens on the second to last, but it didn't. But now it happened in the last battle. So look at, I mean, we are really routinizing, fine-tooth comb, like Spaceballs, comb in the desert.
It's the late initiation they're looking for on Rome, because you have those giant 3-2-1 lines there, and the driver needs to be initiated by that one line. So it becomes a question of, did Rome get the car to angle? Is he drifting by that final line? And it's strange because the car starts to come into angle, but there's not a lot of tire smoke. He really slow rolled into it. And you can see the judges here now scrutinizing this. They're really, really digging in, taking a look at those replays and trying to understand how this all played out.
You keep the things you love running smoothly for the long haul. That's why he's been on adequate.
Well, we all
got nowhere else to go, and we have
so car 3, 2, and it yeah, it is
okay.
Something's going.
1 vote, 2 votes, and 3 votes, and we've seen plenty of replays. So at this time, I'm going to throw it down to Reese. He requested to elaborate on this, and rightfully so. Reese.
Just to elaborate here, like we did see the hit on the first half of the battle. What we were definitely doing the replays on to try to get clarity is, did Rome initiate by the first line? After we reviewed it quite a few times, he just barely initiated right when he needed to. We were just trying to make sure, because if not, we would have ended up running it back again. But we did as much as we could on the replays to definitely get an answer, and Rome did initiate just barely in time in order to keep it all legit and avoid from having that not initiation rule hit him in the head.
Wow. I mean, that's a bold and smart play in some ways, but it almost bit him.
Yep. All right, so there we have it. Our 32 has come to a completion, and there is our top 16. So Adam LZ, so, you know, coming into this round of competition, the 1, 2, and 3 was
Adam going up against Tommy Lemaire.
Adam LZ had a bye run in 32, so we have not seen him go head-to-head just yet. But Adam LZ, will see him in top 16. He'll be going against TLO, Tommy Lemaire, a rookie. You got Trenton Beecham versus Shanahan, Connor O'Sullivan versus Jeff Jones. You got Hiroya Minowa, who knows this track, loves this track. This is where he gained a lot of attention, going against Dylan Hughes. Then on the other side of the bracket, Frederick Aasbo, who leads the championship. He'll be going against Connor Shanahan, who seems to be rising to the occasion. You got Matt Field versus Chris Forsberg, the OG. And then you got James the Machine Dean, currently in second, again, defending champion, going against Ryan Tuerck, who narrowly got that victory over Simon Olsson. Then you got Andy Hatley, who got handed the victory after Odie Boxies unfortunately got gutted, hit the dirt, jumped up on 3 wheels in the air. It was sensational, made the highlight reel, but does not advance on. And then finally, here we are, RCP taking out Dan Berquette. So we'll see you guys in a few. Local time, 5:34, so just about 2 hours, 7:45 local time for our United States Air Force opening ceremonies. Jacob, throw on your beanie, go sweat it out with the fans, and we'll be back here at 7:45.
Alrighty. Now we can move on to the live.
Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. So the other side, who is going against James Dean in the finals? Dylan the Dozer Hughes or Jack Shanahan? So Dylan Hughes and Jack, you can see Dylan has taken out Jack before. And this is the one more time battle. So Dylan will lead.
Let's go, Dylan Hughes. Who's gonna go up against the final James Dean?
Will chase him down. Just a hush falls over the crowd. The momentum here, just again, who is going against James in the final? Dylan Hughes, Jack Shanahan at pace. Let's see these BMWs initiate into that first outside zone. There goes Dylan Hughes, Shanahan tucking in. Really nothing to lose, going for that rookie of the year. Shanahan brings in a second outside zone. Great proximity from Shanahan. Look at that. Even more angle than Dylan, it seemed like. Coming out last outside zone, that 4 tucks it on in. Jack Shanahan comes up a bit short. Didn't time that transition from 3 to 4. The car gripped up. And like Matt Field said earlier, that was a 30-degree temperature swing from daytime to nighttime, and how the car adapts. Look at that, the signature smile from Frederick Aasbo. He's going to be 3rd place.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Dylan Hughes out there getting that first outside zone done and locked in, and then Jack Shanahan trying to take her home with one headlight, getting through the rest of the run, trying to get into the pocket. Dylan a little bit late getting into outside zone 3, and Jack having to adapt to that, and then really outside zone 4, he's got to take that tighter line just to stay into the battle. I'd really like to see him sink back that little bit, but maybe just getting choked up a little bit as we see the teams here all with big smiles on our face, and this is what our points championship is looking like right now. James Dean has an opportunity to tie it up before we head over to Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a complete winds of change, or just, like you said, it's going to be a tie. If the scenario is if James gets the win, it'll be 100 points apiece, 180 points per side of James Dean and Frederick Aasbo. And of course, these drivers want to move up in the running order. Adam LZ going out fairly early, but still after this, you know, round of competition, we still have those 3 left, so a lot of points still up for grabs. But here tonight, it is James Dean versus one of these guys. Jack Shanahan out front. He's going to need to put down a heater of a run into that first outside zone.
Let's go, Hughes.
Dylan Hughes chasing him down. Let's see how he manages in the second outside.
Get up on him.
Doesn't have the same degree of angle.
Let's go.
Let's see how it transitions in.
Oh no, come on, get up there.
Wavering there by Dylan Hughes. Is that enough? He did eventually get to the
Good.
outside zone 4. So 2 very different.
That goes to Dylan Hughes. That goes to Dylan Hughes.
Transitioning into 4. Jack came up short. Dylan, a little bit delayed reaction going into outside zone 4, but he did finally join the party. Let's take a look at it again. Love the overhead view. This is going to be really telling.
Yeah, it really shows you who is filling out the zone and where that chase driver is and what they're doing to stay in the battle, what they're sacrificing to try and get that proximity back. But Dylan, I mean, falling back a little bit, does a good job of mirroring, but Jack really doing a great job of filling those zones. And as we come into the 4th outside zone, you can see that nice, smooth, and clean sweep across the wall for Jack Shanahan. And I think once we get into a little bit of side-by-side action here, we're going to start to be able to pick apart, especially the lead runs, and then maybe tally up some zones and figure out who might have an advantage in this battle, because right now both these drivers really pushing the pace, really pushing everything and trying to get on that podium, really pushing for that podium. And there is Connor Shanahan staring on, hoping that is such a tense thing. It's one thing to be in the car having to wait this out. It's another thing to be staring at your brother and hoping he gets it. So BC Racing, custom coilover side by side. Let's count up the zones here. So Jack, I mean, great job. Both do a great job in the first outside zone. Second outside zone, there's a bit more proximity. Maybe Jack was a touch deeper though. 3rd outside zone, I think Jack's got the advantage in the lead on that one. 4th outside zone, I mean, really Dylan does a better job in the chase because Jack had to sacrifice so much in the 4th. So it's almost nothing between them. It's kind of that tick and tack back and forth, trying to figure out who's got the points.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a really tough night on these judges. So many one more times, and all of them well deserved.
I'll tell you what. I'm just
The win goes to Dylan Hughes because he did a better close up. He was a lot closer to Jack when it came to the last zone, while Jack was like gapped right there. Let's see what the judges say.
Some really good head-to-head battles tonight. That's that's Jack's lady there on the right. That is Connor's, obviously his brother there on the left. But this track has really created some really fun battles.
Yeah, it has.
Going to the driver's meeting, it seems like kind of shooting holes in it here and there. The judges have requested, the outside zone 4. That was the point of interest. Outside zone 1 played a major role in a lot of the drivers. But I think we've seen some great battles here as we're, culminating a whole evening, a whole weekend from Thursday to Saturday for those drivers that participate in ProSpec, either competition or campaign a vehicle, part of a team such as, the Hansens, the Forsberg camp, they got Alex Jager, obviously the Sorensens, very busy. Overall, it's a long weekend. It's hot. It was very hot today, probably the hottest day of all. You saw rain, but overall this track has really produced some fantastic driving. Drivers have risen to the occasion. Here we are seeing Jack potentially get his first podium finish. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Is it going to be an
Oh!
Jack Shanahan gets the victory. He's going to the finals. Jack Shanahan is going to be on the podium. So it's an Irish 1-2. I just got the chills. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations to Jack Shanahan. He's going against a great friend of his. You saw James Dean go over to him, talk to him. So look at that. Frederick Aasbo will get 3rd place. Dylan Hughes just a bit outside of capturing that finals, going to the finals. But Jack Shanahan in his rookie year is going against James Dean. So again, a bunch of Irish celebration down there. Frederick Aasbo is with Lorette Nickel now.
So I just stepped out of the way because Matt Field was over here talking to Freddie, and Jack Shanahan coming in right here. The team celebrating. What an absolutely momentous occasion. Freddie, you know how good this feels as a driver, and can you even articulate maybe what he's feeling?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is Jack's first final of many in FD, and we all know that he deserves it. He's a driver that could pull that off every single event, and for him to actually prove that he can be there, it's amazing. I think tonight we're going to see a lot of Irish flags here.
So you and Matt were just talking, and I wanted to address this with the fans about how transparent Freddie is as a driver. Matt asked him a question. Freddie said, well, I don't know, but I can share data with you. And I think that's really incredible as who you are as a human being and as a driver. But my question is, we saw you do battle against James Dean. At the very end, we saw you spin. What happened there?
I just clocked out early. It's been a long day. What happened is we had a pretty strong lead, and he had an amazing chase on me. And I've been fighting my chases all day. Haven't really been able to figure them out. And we were sort of going for that Hail Mary chase, and it didn't quite work out in turn 2. I was a little bit behind, and trying to catch him into turn 3, and there's a lot going on there, and it just didn't stick. So I think even if we had a good run through turn 3, we probably would have lost anyway. So why not just send it and see if you can get it? And this time it didn't. But I think we're guaranteed a 3rd place now. Not too shabby. We'll take that on the chin, and we'll dig deep going into the next rounds.
Yeah, and there was Matt was interviewing you a little bit earlier, and you had said this is the time to start ratcheting it up. How do you do that?
I think now it's about going back home, practicing some of the timing, some of the things in chase that I get a lot of seat time practicing in the winter. It falls off during the summer. So I got to really hone in on that on the sim, in my practice car, and really get that Irish dive figured out for the last 3 rounds.
Amazing. All right, well, speaking of the Irish dive, guys, let's go take a little look at Jack Shanahan, all the goings on. Rome Charpentier in the window. Of course, Connor Shanahan is here. Boys, let's go back up to the booth. The energy down here is amazing.
Yeah, it's contagious. I could just read it on your face. And a great interview there. Great questions, Lorette. Get some great insight from Frederick Aasbo. And like you said, as transparent as he is, he wants to put on a show, and good competition creates a good show. Jack Shanahan, look at that, doing a little bit of moonwalk. Put the gloves on, and that's right. It's an Irish bare knuckle fight, but they got some gloves on because safety first, of course. And then we are going to see James the Machine Dean four-time, an FD veteran, and by no means is Jack Shanahan a rookie, but in Formula Drift U.S. competition, he is a rookie. But when we come back, who's it going to be? James Dean or Jack Shanahan? We know one thing, it's going to be an Irishman getting the win here in St. Louis.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
Get out there and have fun. Because you've got Meguiar's. And we've got your back. From wash, to paint care, to maintenance and more, Meguiar's has your hybrid ceramic solution for every adventure. Meguiar's, reflect your passion.
This is where champions are made. Born from Formula Drift. Engineered for your daily drive. Where Kenda's Vesda UHP Max Plus proves it's not just track ready. It's street dominant. This is podium to pavement. Vesda UHP Max Plus, only from Kenda. Find yours today at kendatire.com.
BC Forged Wheels, custom built per order, offering extensive design, finish, and machining options. Strength, style, and precision come standard. Track proven, street ready. BC Forged, proud sponsor of Formula Drift 2025.
Welcome back to the finals, because here we are at Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. I'm Jared Dienda, Jacob Gettins next to me, and Lorette Nickel down on the ground. She has asked some great questions, got some insight from a variety of drivers, most recently Frederick Aasbo divulged. He says, I checked out, I clocked out right before that last outside zone. He's gonna have third place, but the big question is, who is going to get the win? Jack Shanahan, his first finals. He's a Formula Drift rookie, by no means a drifting rookie, but Jack Shanahan going against a great friend of his, James Dean. He's seen James Dean grow up. And, you know, he's had aspirations. He's gone against him in Ireland. He's gone against him in Europe, Drift Masters, and here for the first time in the finals, Shanahan and Dean. I mean, two iconic names, not only in Irish, not only in European drifting, but global names that are synonymous with drifting. So history is about to be made. Will James Dean surrender? No, he will not. Will he potentially make a mistake? He could. Can Jack Shanahan rise to the occasion on his FD Pro Rookie year, as we are about to enter the finals of round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship? James the Machine Dean will lead, again, a 4-time champion, defending champion in that Pennzoil Ford Mustang. Here comes Jack Shanahan in tow in that BMW. James Dean across the nose of Shanahan. Shanahan drops back, slides back. Great angle from James Dean. Again, no
Yep. That right there happens to me on the sim. Yeah.
like he is buffering here in this situation. James Dean keeps pace. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Goes to outside zone 4. Textbook once again. Hence the name The Machine. T2, J2, because he is absolutely eyes on the prize. He is fixated as the Shanahan camp looking on. Did not like that on the inside. Rome Charpentier obviously prepping that vehicle for him. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, James Dean out front doing exactly what he always does. That is that absolutely perfect lead run. And there it is. Jack does such a good job for that first outside zone. But then
he said Connor.
Doesn't panic, never falters, gets through on that third outside zone, starting to close the gap on the RTR, and then makes that dive. Gets such a good job on the parallel for that transition outside zone 4. So really it's just this spot here where, like, oh man, James almost adding a bit more extra angle through that section and kind of chokes up Jack, getting lost in the smoke coming through that inside on outside zone 2. So might have to take a look back at that a few times, but really just it's James throwing angle and speed and everything he possibly has at this run all the way through, just doing everything he can to try and get this out as wide. Look at, there's the team. I mean, there is so much nervous tension right now as they swap positions and Jack Shanahan will take the lead. Is James Dean perfect once again, or is this the time where he slips up? It all comes down to this run. Both the championship and the rookie, there's so much right here, right now, as these drivers pull to the line.
A great battle on deck. Jack Shanahan, he's going to try to force an error. James Dean, the finals are here. We know that an Irishman is going to win. Is it going to be Jack Shanahan on his rookie year, getting a victory? Or is James the Machine Dean going to live up to his name once again and assume the tie for the points lead after round 5? Going to outside zone 3, Jack Shanahan puts it in the right place. James Dean tucks in nicely. James Dean applying the pressure. Looks like, again, he's not going to make a mistake. It looks like James Dean will be earning that victory after Jack Shanahan makes those mistakes, losing that side skirt. But overall, a great effort by Jack Shanahan. He will be getting a podium, and it looks like James Dean will be getting the win after those mistakes by Jack Shanahan. That's, again, knee-jerk reaction, but let's look at it again with our Air Force replay.
Yeah, Jack just throwing it, absolutely hucking anything left in that car is on the track right now. I'm surprised there's not fluids everywhere because Jack is just absolutely cooking all the way through this run, but James not letting him go anywhere. The amount of trust in these drivers. They were talking about going just door to door, banging things out on the practice run in their beater cars, and this to me feels like an extension of that, just with the most horsepower and the most budget on one of the biggest stages in the world, throwing it down for Ireland, having a blast. This is two great friends driving, and it doesn't matter where they are or what they're in. They're going 10/10 the whole way through. Such a treat here in St. Louis. Such a treat for everybody watching back home. I know Jack's grandma's up 4:30 in the morning checking this out, and this is such an amazing time here in St. Louis where, man, a night I'm never going to forget.
I feel like this is dreams come true, man. This is two Irish kids that had aspirations of drifting, taking them across the globe, and that's what it is. Yeah. Here are these two Irishmen from Cork, Ireland, in the finals. We saw this last year with Connor, and now it's Jack, the older brother of the Shanahan bros. And now celebratory donuts. They're living their dreams. It's coming to fruition. James Dean having his mate, having his homie here in St. Louis, a foreign land with two unforeign names in the drifting world now. Shanahan, Dean, they're synonymous with drifting. As we take a look at our BC Racing side-by-side, you can see on the left, James Dean leading and Jack Shanahan chasing him down. Watch Jack Shanahan, second outside zone. You can see him come up short. That was the nail in the coffin, unfortunately, for Jack Shanahan, but still a great effort, a good attempt, giving it to, like you said, a great friend, Jacob. Yeah. And you know, James, he knows what he needs to do. He knows Jack's style. Jack would, again, a great prepped car, but a first season vehicle. And if you recall, James Dean, in 23, the Mustang and him were not getting together, not great synchronicity. Irwindale crashes the car, totals it, writes it off. 24, sees fire, sees rain, comes out on top, unprecedented amount of podiums, eventually wins the 2024 championship. Here he is defending the title, and now with this victory, he will be tied with Frederick Aasbo as he gets outside of the vehicle. James the Machine Dean makes some noise for these two Irish pilots, absolutely stallions, marksmen of their game, smiles for miles, And there it is, handshakes and hugs all around. The Irish eyes are a-smiling on St. Louis for James the Machine Dean and Jack Shanahan. It looks like Frederick Aasbo will be joining them as well, and will announce the podium finish here for these three gentlemen.
Yeah, just an incredible night, and just global names in the drifting world. Everybody here, everybody that you're looking on this podium are just world-class athletes and the best of the best of the best, and it's just amazing we get to witness it. It's what a crazy night, Jared.
Absolutely insane night. Now, again, make some noise. Third place here at St. Louis, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Slide on over there, Rockstar Energy Drink Pilot. Third place here in St. Louis, round 5. Frederick the Norwegian Hammer Aasbo. And now your winner here, round 5 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. It was a hard-fought battle. We saw the heat, we saw the rain, and we saw one Irishman rise to the top just a little bit more. And your winner, unanimously, here in St. Louis, the Crossroads, is James the Machine.
Who was that? That screamed! That dude screamed so loud you could hear it. He said, James Dean! He screamed his ass off. Oh, man. Let's go, Jack!
You always ask the great questions, but again, an Irishman, 1-2.
An Irish podium, first and second. Where are you going? Come here. It's not even. James Dean, that was an absolutely incredible battle. My God.
Yo, whoever said that in the chat, chill, bro.
Battling this man right here.
Honestly, as soon as it was me and Jack in the final, it felt like a practice day. I was ready for fun. I was telling my team on the radio, this is fun. This is going to be fun. I'm so proud to share Jack's first FD podium with him. I know Connor could have been here as well tonight, but it's a pleasure. I've sat in the seat with him his first ever day drifting, and to see him go from a 12-year-old little kid to what he is today, I'm just very proud, and he works hard for this, so almost makes me emotional.
Yeah, and there's so much emotion involved in this, and so much history between you two. Even you are getting emotional thinking about this.
I was holding together until he started talking. It is a lot of emotions. We put our whole lives to this, you know.
How long have you been dreaming about this moment?
That's awesome. Awesome.
I have it tonight, so I'm happy. Very happy.
But Jack, you did call it earlier.
Oh, man.
WJ. You called it earlier today.
No, exactly. I just, as James said, once we got to the final, I was in the burnout box, and I was like, we went training every Wednesday during the winter, and I was like, all those days of chasing that Mustang around the oval at home in Kerry, to be here in front of all these people, that's all I was thinking about. I was like, you know what? I've got the power and the grip this time compared to at home, and yeah, we just put on a show, and that's all I wanted to do tonight, and I feel like these people got a hell of a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And James, going into Seattle all tied up, so what is the focus moving from there?
I didn't even think about Seattle. That's like a few weeks away. We did what we dreamed of doing this weekend, which was just trying to get as many points as possible. And this sport is so just unpredictable with how good everybody is after getting that you just never know if it's going to be your day or not, no matter how good practice goes. So I just tried to take it one lap at a time and focused as good as I could. And we had a few issues. The team worked through it. The car did every single lap we needed to do on the track. And I'm just very proud of everyone at RTR keeping the Ford Mustang on track, because they did a lot of work this weekend for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our podium. Frederick Aasbo in third. Get on over here. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Shanahan in second, and your winner, James Dean.
Lorette, thank you. I'm kind of welling up because Jack, you could just read the emotions on his face, the way he's driving. And James, just always everybody elevating each other. You want to beat them, but at the end of the day, everybody won here tonight. Some great driving just overall from Pro Spec to Pro. Again, Nate Chen winning last night. Congratulations to Pro Spec driver, Cole Richards, Dimitri Brutsky. And look at the standings going into round 6. We'll see you in Seattle, eventually Utah, and eventually tickets go on sale Monday. So buy them now. Who's going to be our 2025 champion? We'll find out Long Beach. The point standing, Odie still in contention. He's 100 points out. Cash are 80 points out, but 100 points richer. Brandon Sorensen, RCP, you see it. Connor O'Sullivan, Daniel Stuckey, and Connor Shanahan, his bro, down there in 15th. There's Hiroya Minowa. Again, can't wait to see those two guys tied going into round 6. Some great driving. There's Jack Shanahan. I love the emotion coming out of Jack Shanahan. I feel like he won the event. Just overall, look at that. Everybody absolutely elated. This is like Castro winning, or Castro getting that podium. We're talking about just all these firsts, and the emotion runs deep. Congratulations. Everybody won, but there could be only one winner, and that was James the Machine Dean. Congratulations to him. We'll see you on the podium, and of course, for those tuning in, we'll see you in Seattle, or just north. Evergreen Speedway playing host to round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. On behalf of Lorette Nickel, Jacob Gens, I'm Jared Deanna, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you on behalf of the whole Formula Drift staff, the hard work.
Let's go.
Brian Egger, Vernon, and Reese Marin. We will see you guys in Seattle. The battle
in Seattle.
Send it. Formula Drift Nation. We'll see you
Yes, sir.
another time.
All right, that is it.
Yeah!